To get in the building, our friends at ATIX will help you out there to get in there and get that ticket if you don't have one right now. That's our show today. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there. Here at the Next Round, we love our guests, especially our 2024 football regulars. Auburn, Alabama fans, we've got your guys. On Mondays at 9:25, we'll be joined by Alabama offensive lineman Tyler Booker, and Tuesdays at 9:25, we chat with Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne. Join us and rep your team.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Happy football season. At the Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McCorder, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
From the creators of The Next Round comes two new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. Two team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live. Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
So much to talk about today. Live with you on this Monday before Christmas LT in New York City watching his Rams hold on to a playoff berth, and a big win for them. He'll be back with us later on towards the college football playoffs. More scheduling update on the show here a little bit later on. We'll let you clue you in on everything that's going on. Auburn basketball gets their 6th quad 1 win. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the committee. Did they get it right? Did they get it wrong? React to all the college football playoff games and get to some NFL. He's Ryan Brown. I'm Jim Dunaway. Tyler and Forrester behind the big glass over there. Guys, good morning to you. Congratulations, Forrester. If I could on the screen right now, I'd shoot you a bird. Your Falcons win. My Buccaneers lose. You guys now control the NFC South.
Until next week.
Well,
here he goes.
Here you go.
Starting again.
Stop.
Got to play the Commanders on the road.
I know that's a tough game. The Commanders, whoa, the way they played in the fourth quarter.
They always win on the last play, but how long can that go?
You're right. They're terrible.
Taylor Korn is handling everything social media for us at Next Round Live. Good morning, Taylor. Good morning, Jim. Thank you, Taylor. At Next Round Live, thumbs up. Make sure you like, subscribe everywhere you're watching us, and we appreciate you doing that. EG will be in with us. She's got our 4 downs today. She's got our trash today, and we'll get to all that. But we start, Brownie, with our Coca-Cola breakdown of round 1 of the college football playoffs, brought to you by our friends at Coke.
Tackle game day with a great taste of Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Try and decide. There were 4 teams that did not have enough Coke Zero Sugar in their system.
They needed more zero sugar.
Yeah, they needed more zero sugar. I am not going to pretend like I am an advocate for this 12-team playoff. I want it.
And I'm not giving up.
And I'm not giving up. We'll fix it, guys. I know there are errors here. I've pointed them out before we even started the playoffs, and now everybody saw them. Those were not great games. I am not going to sit here and pretend that we got really any good games over the weekend. Now, I watched them all.
I did too.
Don't get me wrong. I sat there and watched every one of them. We'll get TV ratings later today. I'm going to say they'll get good TV ratings.
Technically, by the scoreboard, the closest game was Notre Dame and Indiana, 10 points.
Yeah, but that was not.
But that wasn't close.
Clemson, Texas was the closest game.
That was a blowout.
Yeah.
28 points, 14 points, the really closest game, and 25 points, which, by the way, Ohio State, Tennessee didn't feel like it was only 25 points, by the way.
It felt like if Ohio State wanted that to be 60 points, it would have been 60 points, right?
That's right.
That's the way it felt anyway.
That's the way it felt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so let's break this down this way. Let's go.
You lead it, and I'll react.
Let's go first the blowouts.
All right.
Okay.
That was all of them.
First the blowouts. I got a set of numbers here, and before we break the games down individually, during the BCS era, of which ironically Tennessee won the first national championship in them. The average margin of victory during the BCS national championship game, which was always 1 versus 2, was 33-18. That's a differential of what, 15 points?
Yep,
15 points.
Okay.
That's a 2-score game. That was the average outcome of the BCS national championship. The average score of games in the 4-team playoffs was 40-21. That's a 19-point margin of victory. So what we saw in these 4 games is nothing new. Nothing new. This is what we have gotten in college football playoffs since we started these in 1998 and 2 and the 4. So of course, when you go to 12 teams, and especially if these were seeded correctly, we would have had blowouts. You're going to get blowouts. You get blowouts, NFL style blowouts in the NFL playoffs. So this is to be expected, right? Am I wrong? It's to be expected.
That I should get 4 blowouts?
No, we probably should get 3 blowouts and one good game. Yeah, 8-9 should be a good game.
Well, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
I mean, the only game that, and I never felt like Clemson was going to win. Did you?
I did not.
Not one time watching did I think, Clemson got. But when they cut it to 7, you're like, if Texas comes out here and fumbles things around, this might get interesting.
Yeah.
I still never thought Clemson was going to win it.
And let me tell you, I was able to watch more of that game than I thought because I was at the Auburn basketball game, and Auburn was beating the eyes out of the 16th ranked team in the country so bad that I could sit there and watch the football game and only be briefly interrupted by the basketball game on the court because Auburn, it was never close in that one. So I never thought Clemson was going to come back and win that one. No, I didn't. And I sure didn't think Tennessee was going to beat Ohio State. And I never thought SMU was going to beat Penn State. And I never thought Indiana was going to beat Notre Dame. So there was no surprise. It was easy MyBookie.ag money for me over the weekend.
Yeah.
Take the home teams, give the points.
Luginbill will be on with us later, and I'll ask him about this. So I'll bring this up again because he was on the sideline for Penn State SMU. I know that was a blowout, and I don't know because I know you were down at the Auburn Purdue game how much you got to focus on that game.
Oh, I watched it all.
But in the first quarter, SMU was moving up and down the field. Penn State really didn't have a great answer other than pick sixes.
That's right.
For their offense. And on the flip side, Penn State was struggling to run the football on them. SMU played with Penn State. They just where it all started was he's got an open first down run and a guy wide open for a touchdown. And most quarterbacks are going to say, I could get the first down, but I can get a guaranteed 6 right here. And he just made a bad throw.
Bad throw.
Now
in a crappy effort.
If that's third down, you might could swallow it. On fourth down, you've got
to extend the drive.
You've got to make sure you got the first down. That is play number one. I know 7 is very appealing, but play number one is making sure you've got the first down. He's got the first down. And then it felt like Jennings started pressing after that. And, he started pressing. He makes the pick 6. They move it again, another pick 6. But Penn State wasn't running on them. Like, SMU was not outclassed in that first quarter. It just snowballed on them, and then they looked really outclassed the rest of the game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, those pick 6s. And
that's good defense. I'm not trying to take it away. Those numbers count.
Yes.
That's good defense.
I really thought the weather impacted Kevin Jennings. Gripping the cold football, making decisions. He was out there pregame, saying on game day, the weather is fine. It's not going to impact us. We're prepared. We're ready to go. But he looked cold when he was doing that.
Yeah.
And he looked cold playing. I really thought the weather impacted the Tennessee kids. I really did. We'll talk more about that game in a second. Remind me to bring up the weather with the Tennessee kids a little bit later on. But those mistakes, you just can't overcome those mistakes. You can't overcome giving 3 interceptions, 2 of them being returned for touchdowns. You can't do that. That's like That's like block punts. We've always wanted to do the story of block punts returned for scores. How many teams that get one of those end up winning the football game?
Yeah.
We always think it's like 90-something%. Like if you get a blocked punt that you pick up and take it to the house for 6, usually I feel like you win the football game. You get multiple pick 6s. I'd like to know in history, like if I got 2 pick 6s, how many times I won the football game? I bet it's in the 90%.
Well, I mean, A, you're on the road.
Oh, yes.
B, you're in a college football playoff game, which I know those had never happened until Friday and Saturday. You're playing a superior opponent. I don't think anybody's going to try to argue that Penn State wasn't the better team. The scoreboard showed you that.
You're the underdog.
Yeah, so you throw 2 pick 6s in that situation. I mean, your chance of winning, I think we saw it, is probably close to 0% in that situation. Now, you do it against Mercer or somebody like that, you can still win the game. But on the road against a superior opponent in a playoff game, I don't know how you would win that game with 2 pick 6s. There's just no chance.
So that started the conversation everywhere in the world. It started really on Friday, but it was really cooking by the time you were finished with brunch. Those little cool eggs that aren't fully cooked, sitting on top of the little piece of bread. Has some hollandaise sauce. What are they called?
Eggs Benedict.
Eggs Benedict. While you're finishing
Do you like Eggs Benedict?
I hate Eggs Benedict.
Do you really?
I do.
Yeah, I like it.
My eggs cooked.
Do you like Eggs Benedict?
Yeah, I like Eggs Benedict.
Yeah, I do too. That's interesting.
Yeah. Don't like it.
Yeah, I like it. I like a little piece of Canadian bacon instead of the sausage. You said sausage. Yeah. I like the egg, the Canadian bacon, and the hollandaise sauce. I like that, Tyler.
Yeah, not me.
I do too. I've had there's one place near here that does like a fried chicken Eggs Benedict. It's delicious.
Yeah.
That's getting a little bit more southern. You fried something on that.
That sounds heavy, too.
I don't like Eggs Benedict. But by the time you're choking that down on Saturday, the conversation started about what we saw with Indiana and what we saw with SMU. What that conversation was, as we jump into this, brought to you by our friends at Johnston RV Center, johnstonrvcenter.com.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur is where you find Johnston RV Center. And right now, you get great deals, like always, at Johnston RV Center because they are moving things out to make room for the 2025s. And show season is right around the corner. How about Shasta 16RE, $149 a month with approved credit? You want something a little bigger? The Avenger 29 QBS could sleep up to 10, $279 a month with approved credit. RV warranty forever. Make sure you got a lifetime warranty on anything new or previously owned. Johnston qualifying previously on JohnstonRVCenter.com.
Oh, and by the way, we've got the Birmingham Bowl. We're going to tell you how to get tickets throughout the show today, but a reminder, the Birmingham Bowl coming up. I was downtown for the big Auburn basketball game, and signs everywhere. The team hotels are getting ready to welcome Georgia Tech and Vandy to town, the Birmingham Bowl. You can jump on their website and maybe a great little stocking stuffer right here to take the kids to watch some great SEC Bowl action coming up here at the Birmingham Bowl. Just jump on their website there and get ready for the Yellow Jackets and the Commodores 2 days after Christmas down there at Protective Stadium. Already some great tickets have been sold. Crowd's going to be fantastic. Atmosphere is going to be good. It's going to be one of the better bowl games that you'll see. Go onto the Birmingham Bowl website and get those tickets today for the Birmingham Bowl coming up 2 days after Christmas. You got time to get those tickets, print them off, and stuff them in the kids' stockings and surprise them with a little SEC football this holiday season. All right. So the conversation quickly turned to Indiana didn't play anybody, shouldn't have been in the playoffs, and then SMU was the wrong choice by the committee. SEC. We need SEC in this thing.
You sound like the Ohio State crowd chanting SEC.
Yeah. So this started the Lane Kiffin, Joel Klatt world war on social media. Give me Kiffin first, Forrester, before we get the Klatt clap back. And Orlovsky got involved. Good Lord, Joel, wrote Orlovsky.
Klatt's that too far.
But here's Lane Kiffin after the Friday night game. Really exciting, competitive game at college football playoff. Great job. A lot of sarcasm in that tweet. And then the next day, way to keep us on the edge of our seats, committee. Riveting after the couple of pick sixes there. Any more from Kiffin? That's it from Kiffin. Okay, so Joel Klatt. As the second round was going out, Klatt decided to fly over Hiroshima and drop this on Lane Kiffin. This is from Joel Klatt, friend of the show, Fox analyst, Big Ten apologizer. If your team played half as well as you tweet, you would likely be in. Joel Klatt to Lane Kiffin, to which Orlovsky writes, "Good Lord, Joel."
I mean, that was a good tweet by Klatt.
It was.
You got to give it to him. I mean, Kiffin. How did Kiffin come off looking with those tweets to you?
For a guy who was probably third of the three SEC teams.
Yeah, it's hard to say that with the way they beat South Carolina head to head.
Yeah, you're right. Probably second, but
probably second.
It was Alabama, and you didn't see Kalen DeBoer making those tweets. Then you put Ole Miss maybe, and then Shane Beamer.
I didn't see Beamer making those tweets.
I didn't see Beamer make. I mean, it comes off. I mean, I appreciate Lane fighting for the SEC or Ole Miss, but at that point, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, not even third SEC. Like, they were third in the pecking order because Miami gets in before them too.
That's right.
I mean, if SMU had dropped, Miami would have gotten in. I did not love the look from Kiffin. He's not wrong, but you're also the guy that I believe Kentucky. How many SEC wins did Kentucky get in football this year? Do you remember that number?
One.
I believe it was one. Where did that come?
It's on the road.
Yeah,
at Ole Miss.
They won a road game at Ole Miss,
at Ole
right?
Miss, yeah. Just like Alabama lost to Oklahoma.
Right. That's right.
I mean,
and
I would say, do I think Alabama Notre Dame would have been better television on Friday night?
Oh, sure it would have been.
I do.
Ole Miss Penn State would have been better television.
Yeah,
yes.
Just because the Alabama uniforms running out there against Notre Dame. I'm not saying Alabama would have won the game. Notre Dame does things that Alabama struggles stopping. You know, power run and a really good defense against the run game and against a quarterback that can be mobile. Notre Dame is really good at stopping that. I'm not saying Alabama would have won the game. It would have been more entertaining television. Because you would have Alabama maybe losing a game on national TV, and I think Americans would have loved to tune in and watch that as opposed to watch Indiana lose.
Don't
I think
disagree.
It would have been better television, but I'm not saying the committee got it wrong. A lot of people were. And then I think that changed, Brownie. That changed, that conversation in Lane's tweeting changed a lot when Ohio State kicked the crap out of Tennessee.
I saw a lot of hypothetical matchups involving the Southeastern Conference against Penn State and Notre Dame. I didn't see a whole lot of them against Ohio State.
Yeah.
I didn't see a whole lot of Alabama fans and Ole Miss fans and South Carolina fans saying, man, if we'd have had a crack at Ohio State, watch us. I did not see a whole lot of that. I didn't see a whole lot of that. I mean,
nobody wondered what Ohio State was serving up.
No, because I think everybody knows Tennessee. I mean, say what you want about Tennessee. I mean, they beat Alabama head-to-head, right? They're a solid SEC team. That's a good SEC team. Tennessee is.
They have a lot of flaws, but
they do.
So
but
does
everybody,
Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina.
Right. Everybody's got a lot of flaws. Georgia's got
Texas.
flaws. Yeah. I mean, Ohio State's got flaws. Those flaws showed up for Ohio State twice this year.
Yep.
But man, I tell you what, when Ohio State put it together, Alabama, the best Alabama we saw, I don't know wins that game.
Yeah.
If Ohio State played the exact same way.
To your point, they put together the most expensive roster in college football this year, and that may have been the first time that expensive roster played like everybody played up to their potential. That roster played up to its potential. Ohio State's roster did.
Yeah.
And
for maybe the first time this year.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, if they do that 3 more times, they'll be national champs.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt. I mean,
we'll do a power ranking later on. I'll be fascinated to see where you have Ohio State.
Oregon was sitting there watching that game. You got a call pouring in?
I do.
Oregon was.
It's Seth McLaughlin.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, Ohio State.
Yeah.
Seth, how are you doing, man? Congratulations on Remington. No, I apologize for the tweet. No, great job with the cigar. Yeah.
On the sidelines, man.
Yeah, good Alabama tradition. I know. It was cheap. It was cheap what I did last night. Can you pull up my tweet about Seth McLaughlin last night? Seth's upset.
Oh, is it? You blew Seth up last night? I didn't even see it.
I did. It was just cheap. It was just a cheap little moment. Everyone was posting the tradition on there, and I took the low-hanging fruit. I apologize, Seth. My tweet was, ironically, the smoke was blowing low and to the right to the person behind Seth.
Jeez, that is cheap. That guy just won the Remington.
He won the Remington. So, Seth, I do apologize.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to use that language. Here's my tweet. Ironic that the smoke was drifting low and right of the person behind him.
The guy just won the Remington.
Yeah, he was. You were great this year at Ohio State.
Well, yeah, he was.
No, you're right. Alabama's not in the playoffs. Yes, my head is still that far up Alabama's butt, even without Nick Saban being there. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to you later, Seth McLaughlin.
All right, bye, Seth. Yeah. Thank you, Seth. Yeah, I don't know.
That was a great moment, though.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Caleb Downs doing it as well. The little Alabama tradition.
I don't know how. I don't know who goes in there and beats that Ohio State team.
No.
Without
their Remington award-winning center.
That's right. Yeah. Beat up on the offensive line. I don't know which team in this playoff goes in and wins that game. So I'm not going to hammer Tennessee too bad. Ohio State looked that good. Now, the challenge for Ryan Day is finding that team in Pasadena as well, right? You got to go play Oregon again and find that team. And Ryan Day hasn't shown that he can do that consistently against the top-level team. So we'll see if he can. But, boy, I'll tell you what, that one night they were as good as anybody or better than anybody.
They really were. They really were. Do you see what's happening over here on lower right now?
Right.
Stephen A. Smith's taking Kirk Herbstreit to the woodshed because Herbstreit said during that broadcast, First Take thought Ryan Day was done.
Oh, yeah.
And now Stephen A. is
I didn't say that.
Having him a chunk of Kirk Herbstreit. I mean, a lot of people are angry this holiday season.
They really are.
I don't know what's happening.
They really are, man. Like the
college football world is fighting with each other.
The reaction to this 12-team playoff. Because all I said on social media Saturday night, after all the games, look, I watched every one of them from start to finish.
You're inviting people to church with you on Christmas Day, and people are clapping back at you.
That's okay.
And it wasn't me this year.
Yeah, I know. The one thing I will say about Friday and Saturday, you got to watch on campus, good atmosphere. I mean, was there an atmosphere where you're like, yeah? All right.
Can I say
you got that wrong?
I was wrong about tweeting that out about Seth McLaughlin. That was a cheap shot. I was just 100% factually wrong about the seats. The atmosphere was great everywhere, and it started on Friday night at Notre Dame, where because of their NBC home broadcast, and I think NBC does the most sanitized.
They do.
Broadcast, very professional, but it is sanitized.
Ohio State, Oregon was maybe the best game of the college football season, and it just had no atmosphere to it. And you know Oregon's got a good atmosphere.
That's right. It's one of the loudest stadiums in college football. And so I had forgotten
because when I was a kid, I always thought, man, that Notre Dame home field advantage is legit. And then they haven't had a game at home broadcast on anything but NBC since 1990, and they make it look so sanitized, so professional, so buttoned up that you don't get the crowd noise, the craziness that ABC and ESPN does such a great job of bringing you. So when I'm watching Friday night, I'm thinking to myself, my goodness, I forgot Notre Dame's home field advantage was like this. And it's the way it was when I was a kid, when they would come out in those green jerseys and everything. That's what it was like again. So if I was Notre Dame, I think it would help their recruiting. I would tear up their NBC contract and try to get money somewhere else that does a better broadcast, or take it over, let it air on NBC and let ABC and ESPN or CBS produce it.
It's weird. The ABC properties, Fox and CBS, do such a better job of giving you game atmosphere than NBC does. I don't know why NBC does it that way, but you're right.
Rune Arledge started college football broadcasting on ABC.
Okay.
And he said the reason this will be successful is because of the college enthusiasm. Show the students, show the kids, show the cheerleaders, show the band. Cutaway, cutaway, cutaway. You don't get that many cutaways of the crowd in the NFL like you do in college.
Right.
Show the cutaways and lean into the atmosphere of the games. Pipe it up, man. Turn it up. And NBC takes a very Super Bowl NFL approach to it. And CBS and ABC gets it right, man. They get it right. And Fox, and they get it right.
But my only point Saturday night was, as bad as the games were, and I'm not saying they were even good. They were bad games. I got 4 games in a packed, great atmosphere college football stadium on the 3rd week of December.
Yep. And you know what else? We get the next round in 11 days or 10 days, depending on which teams you're talking about.
And those are meaningful games. I'm never going to complain about getting 4 more meaningful games than I would have gotten anyway. And I don't, and boy, the reaction I got to that was just, this ruined the bowls, which I thought the bowls were ruined anyway. I've never been a big bowl guy myself. I'd far rather have this than bowls.
Hey, I watched the heck out of that Gasparilla Bowl.
I did too.
It was an appetizer into the playoff game Friday night.
We can have both.
Hey, and by the way, Florida, they played their butts off.
Dominant. I mean, Tulane didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah, but it dominated Tulane.
Yeah.
You know what's hurt the Bowls? The transfer portal.
Yeah. Opt-outs and transfer portals hurt the Bowls. But I don't know, man. I was just trying to make the point that we love college football in this area. And we say more college football, the better. And as Scott is showing you, that's all I said was, man, I'll always take that. I'll always take 4 more on-campus games, not some sanitized neutral site.
Right.
On-campus games in the 3rd week of December. And you would have thought I said this is the greatest invention since the wheel. It's got massive issues. It does. But let's step back and appreciate the fact that we can fix those. And worst case scenario, you got 4 college football games. And I mean, the feedback, but because my only point was, Tennessee, Ohio State was awful. I was like, you're okay. That would have been the Outback Bowl.
Yeah.
Was that going to be better as the Outback Bowl?
I will
early on New Year's Day.
I will tell you though, we're going to fix it. We got to fix one thing about it, and in reality, there's potential to make it a little bit worse, but it has to be fixed. Okay, the fix is we got to get rid of where Arizona State and Boise State spent this Saturday, and that was a bye.
I told you that from day one. You know that I've said it from day one.
So we got to put them. We got to seed it. The best 4 teams get the bye.
That is right.
So what that would have done, this would have been our matchups. Clemson at Notre Dame, atmosphere would have been fantastic.
Well,
maybe a better football game. Arizona State, Ohio State would have been the matchup. SMU, Tennessee. Penn State at Indiana. Boise State at Indiana would have been the matchup. So you'd had Clemson at Notre Dame. Probably have been a better game than what we got. Arizona State at Ohio State. Likely a bigger blowout than we got, or at least the same. SMU at Tennessee. Maybe a better game. And then Boise State at Indiana. Maybe we got better games. I don't know.
Yeah.
In the first round. Maybe we would have got better games.
I mean, I have said all along that I think conference champions ought to be rewarded with a home field. I'm even beyond that now. Now that I've seen the first round, I think conference champions ought to get a spot.
They get a spot. That's it.
That's it. You get a spot. That's it. We're gonna We're going to go best 12, 1 through 12, and I tell you what, there may be 2 conference champions at 11 and 12. If we think that's where you are, that's where we're going to put you.
Yep.
We're going to give buys to the best 4 teams. I don't know that you would have had better games. Give me those matchups again. Syracuse. I mean,
it would have been Clemson at Notre Dame.
Clemson at Notre Dame would have been a better game than Indiana at Notre Dame.
Yeah. Arizona State at Ohio State. Couldn't be a much bigger blowout than what Ohio State did.
But it would have been about like that. Yes.
Yeah. It would have had less. I think it would have had less build-up than Tennessee, Ohio State. Hats off Tennessee fans for showing up. That was amazing. Wish your team had.
Yeah.
SMU at Tennessee, that would have been a good football game.
Yeah,
still been a great atmosphere.
Still fairly one-sided, yeah.
Yeah, Boise State at Indiana.
That, I think, would have been a pretty close game.
Yeah.
It's got no name value to it, so people would have turned their nose up at it, I'm sure. But it would have been a better game than what Indiana gave us against Notre Dame.
And we got to do what the NFL does. It's got to be a reseed. There's no way we should be playing Ohio State, Oregon, even though it's a great matchup in the Rose Bowl.
And Texas, Arizona State.
And Texas, and Arizona State.
I mean, it makes no sense, right?
Yeah. So we got to fix that.
Yeah.
Okay, one more thing to get to in this opening segment. I'm not going to do Auburn basketball right here in this segment. I want to give it a little bit more time in our next segment. So we'll get to Auburn basketball's big win. But a couple of portal pickups after we tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is our friends at HydroLife. Brownie, LT, when he gets back from New York City, one of the first plays, we should give it to him as a gift.
That's right. Here's your gift. Just go straight to HydroLive. You watched the Rams win. Your plane lands today, and we're taking you straight to HydroLive.
Yeah, he's actually in the air right now, probably.
That's right.
At least on the tarmac.
What a surprise when he gets to the gate and HydroLive's waiting. What if they were waiting on him with the bag?
Hey, there's my quarterback, Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones.
Oh, right here? Okay.
He is our quarterback. You can go to HydroLive as well. HydroLive, they've got the IV therapy, the compression therapy, the cryotherapy. With a lot of those services, they'll come right to you like our quarterback, Daniel Jones, does. Just go to HydroLive and find out more. And it's important that you mention the next round. You get a great discount on your first service when you mention the next round. So when you go to HydroLive, tell them you saw it and heard it right here on the next round, HydroLive IV therapy.
And our friends at Odie's, they always bring you great food. For lunch right there, dinner trivia on Wednesday nights. No trivia this week, though.
This week or next week. We'll be back in January.
Back in January for the best trivia in town. But the food is there for you throughout the holiday season with family in town. Go back to the neighborhood bar. Odie's there in Crestline and also in Homewood. Go check that out. Great food, great drinks, great music. It's all right there with our friends at Odie's. The one more thing I wanted to get to is Auburn fans excited getting a receiver out of the portal this morning. It is Eric Singleton Jr., the Georgia Tech wide receiver. He comes in, number 1 receiver in the portal, according to those that rank that, picking the Auburn Tigers this morning. You see the tweet there from the Barn. You can go sign up at thebarnauburn.com, thebarnauburn.com for all the great portal information. But the Barn, they're telling you about Eric Singleton today. He's a sophomore coming in, number 1 receiver in the portal, close to 1,500 receiving yards, 9 touchdowns in his 2 years at Georgia Tech. And if you know Georgia Tech's offensive plans, that's a lot of yardage in the Tech scheme of things. Led the team in receiving both as a freshman and a sophomore. So 2 years being Georgia Tech's top receiver. He's going to come and join a receiving room, Brown, that he doesn't have to be the top dog. He doesn't have to be the leading receiver. Yeah,
he won't be. I mean, I think he's a good complementary receiver. A number 2, a number 3 type receiver. I liked him for Georgia Tech. He was their number 1 receiver. I think you got to see a lot of him. I'm going to pull his numbers up real quick in that Georgia game. It felt like he was
big play guy.
Oh, he was in the Georgia game. He only had 86 yards. It felt a lot more than that, but he did have a touchdown in that game. They would run it to him just a little bit, not a ton. This is a nice pickup for Auburn. I like Eric Singleton. And like you said, it helps that receiving room. It gives Jackson Arnold now another weapon to deal with. And Auburn is just continuing to address their passing game.
Yep. Alabama working on getting 3 guys out of the portal over the weekend. You get Cam Dewberry, inside offensive lineman from Texas A&M, big recruit for them. He's going to come over and try to plug in at guard, center guard, one of those positions for the Tide as an inside offensive lineman. Little help on the linebacker level when you get Nakai Hill-Green from Colorado to Alabama. And then their big get is Isaiah Horton, a guy they were expecting to get from Miami. He finally is signed and is on his way to Tuscaloosa. First off, he's a 6'4 receiver, Brown.
Yeah.
He was 3rd in receiving this year. 56 catches, 615 yards, and 5 touchdowns this year with Cam Ward at quarterback. He's got 2 years of eligibility, and he's going to come in there and play alongside Ryan Williams and company in that receiving room that needs some pieces.
Yeah, it definitely does right now. You mentioned third, Miami receiver, 21st in the ACC in terms of yards per game and the 3 touchdowns there. 5 touchdowns. I mean, I do think it's an interesting receiving room with the 2 guys that are obviously the best, Williams and Bernard. What does Mbakwe bring on the receiving side? Obviously now, I mean, I think you can assume he's going to take some snaps, if not exclusively play receiver. And then Horton, I mean, if Mbakwe is as good as you hope he will be, right? If you're going to go to the trouble of flipping him from DB to receiver, and I think you've seen it some, in the kick returns, his ability to operate in space. His ability to operate in space. So if that can translate to the receiver position, just like we talked about with Auburn, that's a pretty solid receiving room with Williams, Bernard. If Horton is kind of what he was at Miami, and then Mbakwe can be what people want him to be, and then you get Cole Adams back healthy. Jalen Hell is a guy that is so easy to forget about because he's been out so long.
Yeah.
But you get that guy back healthy. I think you got a really solid, the makings of a really solid receiving room there for Ty Simpson if he is, in fact, the starter next year.
Yeah, Courtney Morgan and Kalen DeBoer doing the work over in Tuscaloosa, filling in the holes that have been lost not only in the portal but to graduation. So there you go. Big day for both Auburn and Alabama the last 3 days, and a big one this morning for Auburn out of the portal. More portal news, more college football news later on. When we come back on the other side, though, we'll hear from Bruce Pearl after Auburn's big win over nationally ranked Purdue here in Birmingham at the Battle of Birmingham down at Legacy Arena. What a crowd. We'll talk about that and all of that. The show being brought to you by our friends at Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Just go to their website. It's a planforme.com, a planforme.com. I'm not going to bore you with the 9 pounds I've already lost since I jumped back into Way to Wellness, but Tyler, you can tell.
9 pounds, Tyler.
Yeah, this chin
can
right
you
here.
Tell?
You see the chin's going away?
Did you look at Dunaway this morning and say, are you losing weight?
Yeah.
I did.
9 pounds.
Actually. I asked him before the show.
Yeah, 9 pounds, Tyler.
Look, you can lose that chin right
That's
there.
right, the old turkey neck.
Yeah. Or as I call it, you can lose your hypo. If you go to Way to Wellness.
Yikes.
That wasn't fair either, was it?
Yeah, it was not.
That wasn't fair either.
Cheap shots.
Oh, I'm sorry, Seth McLaughlin and Josh Heupel. Hey, Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living. Way to Wellness, a planforme.com, a planforme.com. No contracts, no sign-up fees. Every plan's designed for you. Injection therapies, the meal replacement, which I'm using there with Leslie and her team. You can check it out. Board-certified professionals, this great price point. Helps you with your blood pressure, your cholesterol, and so much more. Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service.
Back with you on the next round as we continue on. We're about to talk a little basketball. Again, in all seriousness, I need to apologize to Seth McLaughlin.
Boy, this is beating you up.
It really is.
Did you get Ohio
you
State?
need to apologize to Josh Heupel.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's going to be the next one. Yeah,
that one's not going to hurt me as bad as the Seth McLaughlin because I do know, as many of the Alabama fans pointed out, that some of those snap problems could be quarterback problem or just cadence problems, and we talked about that last year when it happened. But I just when I saw the smoking on the sidelines, I just thought to myself, "Oh, there's a interesting day after tweet." So it's on me. That's everything that's wrong with social media, and I apologize again.
Yep. Okay.
That apology brought to you by our friends at Coca-Cola, which I'll never apologize for loving.
Oh, tackle game day with a great taste of Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Yeah. All right. Is it the best Coke ever?
Is it, Jim? Try and decide.
Have one and try and decide.
Yeah.
I'm tired of saying this. Hopefully the AP poll voters get it right this week. Because the metrics say Auburn is the best basketball team in the country right now. And Lil T, Taylor Corn, and I are down there at Legacy Arena getting ready for a big game. 16,700 Auburn fans and about 300 Purdue fans packed into Legacy while the college football playoffs are going on. And, Maggie even said, so the playoffs are going on and you're going down to a basketball game? I said, I am. I said, it's a top 16 matchup. This could end up being a pretty good little basketball game before the day's over with.
Nope.
It was not.
It was much like the college football playoffs.
It was not. The college football playoff was actually closer. Auburn annihilated Purdue, and they did it with unbelievable defense again. It's their 6th quad 1 win, Brown.
Yep.
None of them at home. They're 6-1 in quad 1 games. Their 1 loss of the season, quad 1 on the road at Duke, Cameron Indoor.
By the way, number 2 in the KenPom this morning, Duke. So that's your 1 loss was to the team that is right behind you in the KenPom.
Yeah. All the metrics are setting records. Scoring rating, margins. There's just so many KenPom era ratings, or this point in the year, according to KenPom, that Auburn is currently setting the record or having the record at this point in the season. They have been that good so far. And then there's the team that starts with Janai Broome. There was no reason Janai Broome had to play in this game.
Nope.
Right? The basketball committee is going to forgive a loss if Auburn loses it without Janai Broome on the floor.
basketball committee, they have a lot more data points. They can forgive a loss if your star player, maybe national player of the year, doesn't play. No reason Janai Broome had to play in this game. But as documented by Taylor on our social media platform, through the Tiger Walk, through warm-ups, him stretching it out, him hanging on a rim before he goes out there, he doesn't just play. He starts the game, plays well. Here's Janai Broome on his decision to play in the game.
I didn't feel no pressure at all. Honestly, it was my decision. And I just really went off my body, how my body felt. You know, I didn't need to play this game because I know my teammates, they told me all week they got my back. You know, they want me to play with them, but they don't want me to rush back. And ultimately, I feel like I was ready enough to go. You know, I trained and I prepared myself for the game. And I went over the game plan. So when the game came, you know, I was ready to go, and we had our whole team.
Didn't have to play, but he played, had the whole team, and it showed as they just blitzed Purdue. Never close.
Yeah, an impressive win. I mean, there's no doubt. And it's what Auburn has done other than their win over Houston. Anybody they've beaten this year, they've pretty much just run them off the court. Now, the Houston game, that was a game Auburn had to come back late and win that game. Very impressive win. It was essentially a road game. It was as much a home game for Houston as Auburn's game Saturday was a home game for Auburn, right? How many Purdue fans were there? I mean, what percentage of the crowd? Purdue's a pretty proud program. I would have thought a lot traveled.
I would say they probably had
16,000 people there. So how many Purdue fans out of 16,000?
500.
500? Okay,
Yeah.
that's about what I thought.
And I talked to a guy at Tiger Walk, Purdue fan. He's like, is this where Purdue's coming out? And I looked at him and he says, I'm joking. And I said,
That's actually a good line.
Actually, they're both staying in this hotel. So if they haven't left yet, they are. And then sure enough, Matt Painter and all of them had to walk through the same line of Auburn fans that the Auburn players had to walk through to leave. And I said, when did you buy your tickets? And he says, I'm driving up from Pensacola, met some family members to celebrate the holiday. Some of them live in Florida. So I'm on my way back to Indianapolis where I live. And I saw when I was in Pensacola this was going to time out. So I went on StubHub, he said, and I bought tickets for $300. I said, that's a good price. You got them for $150 a pop. And he's like, no, $300 a pop. I got two, $300 each. And he was like, can you tell me why this is such a big game? And I was like, well, it's pretty easy. Auburn's arena on campus is 9,100, and this is the biggest city in the state. A lot of Auburn fans live here. That's 2 hours that way, 2 hours back. So it's a 4-hour drive to watch a 2-hour basketball game in a 9,100-seat arena where you have to pay about $150 to $300 a ticket if you don't have season tickets to get in the arena to see them. So this was the easiest ticket you could see to play Auburn, and it's in your backyard. I said it sold out in 2 hours. And he's like, I was wondering why this ticket was such in demand.
Yeah.
And I said, that's why.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of Christmas gifts to take kids to the game. Yeah. It was a great atmosphere.
Yeah, 16,000, no telling how many tickets they could have sold for this event had they had unlimited seating. I mean, that's just where Auburn's basketball program is right now. It is it's the most successful program on campus, and the fans have gotten behind it. And it is, like you said, easier and sometimes cheaper. I'm not sure in this case it was cheaper to go see them in Birmingham. It was cheaper if you bought them first. Now, if you bought them on the secondary market, you're paying about what you had to pay to go see them in Neville.
That's right.
For a lot of games.
If you bought them when they originally went on sale,
That's right,
when we told you about the game, and you got in there the first 2 hours before it sold out, you got a very good value. Auburn's 11-1 overall. Top 10 strength of schedule, 6-1 in the quad one, all 7 quad one games away from home. Scoring margin is plus 84 in the quad one games. So they're plus 84 in the quad one games.
That's 7 quad one games?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're plus 84 in 7 games.
Yep. Scoring margin of plus 192 in non-quad one games. 2 wins versus the AP top 5. Top 5 scoring margin nationally. 131.2 offensive rating, the highest in the Ken Pom era, is what Auburn is right now, and a plus 36.4 net efficiency rating, highest ever to this point in the season in the Ken Pom era. So those are some metric numbers. That came from Blake Lovell, who put those numbers together. Blake, thank you for that tweet. I appreciate that so much. And I still say all those great offensive numbers, it's about Auburn's defense. Here is Bruce Pearl talking about defense and how they took Purdue out of this game from the start, from the tip.
You can control your outcome with how you defend. And just thought we did a better job of making it difficult for Purdue. They're better from 3 than they are from 2. We made them make tough 2s. They made some, but they we missed enough. And I thought our guys did a pretty good job of taking care of the basketball, playing, unselfishly. When you shoot, 54% or 55% against a Purdue basketball team, you're running good guys. You got good players, really good players, and the guys are running really good stuff.
Yeah, see, that's just it. Auburn's offense was cooking too.
Yeah, I know.
So that defense travels, right? It's going to be a long season. It's a long way from selection Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. You've done all this work, and now it's probably about to get more difficult, actually, for both Alabama and Auburn.
Because the SEC is on fire. You're about to get into the SEC blender.
And you're going to have to play a bunch of true road games. There are no more neutral site games until you get to the SEC tournament.
But that defense travels, man. It'll go on the road with you. It'll go into the tournament with you. It went to Maui with you. And it was there Saturday against Birmingham. So that defense is, and I've said it, a broken record, that defense is why they're the best team in the country. They have a lot of good offensive parts, but their team defense and their team depth is why they are right now the best team in the country. Can they be the best team in the country in April? I think they got a good chance to do that. So great win for Auburn, a great start to the season. They're off. They don't even play again until Monmouth. And that's after not even on my sheet for this week. So Alabama's off until they play South Dakota State on Sunday, and that'll wrap up non-conference for them, and then Monmouth for Auburn, and then we get into SEC play, which will be fantastic.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun, especially the road games. I mean, winning on the road in this conference is just going to be incredibly difficult.
And then there's Alabama, who beat Kent State in front of 12,000, by the way, for a 12 noon Sunday before Christmas tip. I thought it was pretty impressive, the crowd that showed up for that one, because I didn't even go to that one. Alabama beat Kent 81-54. Sears had 16. Holloway had 13 in the win there. Defense played a lot better against Kent than they did against North Dakota. Still a couple of things to worry about. Here's Nate Oates on how the team played better defensively, which is something he is going to pound his fist and want this team to be better at every step of the way. Defense, defense, defense. Here's Alabama's Nate Oates.
We did make a big point emphasis on defense, especially after that debacle up in North Dakota with Eagle staff. So, we felt like the one guy that could get going, like Eagle staff, on this team was Sullinger, and he ended up shooting 1 of 14, and didn't score in the second half. So I think we did a little bit better job. We struggled offensively, and we're going to have to figure some stuff out here before SEC play. The turnovers have been really just way too many, 13 in the first half. And, we did the same thing 2 games in a row. We only had 1 in the second half against North Dakota. We ended up with 6 in the second half here. So we've got to do a better job at the turnovers. I don't have an answer for the free throw problems, but the only way I know how to fix that is get in the gym and work. So good thing for us is we don't have any school for a few weeks here. So after they get back from Christmas break, we'll be in the gym and putting some time in.
Yeah, free throws, Brownie. Well, they missed 17 of them.
I don't know how you do that, number one. Yeah. I don't know how you do that and win by as many as they did, number 2.
Yeah.
Doesn't speak very highly for Kent State.
Yeah. I'm just saying 17 free throws will get your butt beat almost every night in this SEC coming up.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about it. It's pretty incredible. And a lot of talk in the MyBookie.ag chat room about rotations, that Nate Oates is continuing to tinker with rotations here in the pre-conference. It will be so interesting to me to see what their go-to starting 5 and critical moment rotation is, right? Yeah. Like when it's not cutting time, who they got on the court, when it's time to tip off, who they got on the court.
Yeah.
And I don't know that we know that yet with Alabama.
I don't know if you do or not. I will tell you that there are some pairings that occasionally pop up that I wonder why those 2 or 3 guys are on the court together offensively. They're really good defensively. I just wonder why those 3 guys sometimes cycle in where they're on the court together. I think he'll work all those guys out, and I just hope if you're an Alabama fan that the guys whose minutes are limited as you work out the rotation,
all right,
that they handle it with the great attitude that they've handled it so far.
If you
like, for instance, Mo Diabate has been such a big factor in a couple of big wins this year.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he barely even gets into the game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to be the right kind of guy to handle that kind of stuff.
So if you shrunk it to like an 8-man rotation, which a lot of people use, who's in that 8, do you think? I mean, it's obvious. Sears, Amore, Grant Nelson, Jaron Stevenson is obvious.
I don't even want to.
Philon's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
He's got to be in there.
Yeah. He's probably your best NBA prospect.
Aiden Holloway?
Yeah, I mean, I can't pare it down. I mean, you can keep naming players. I can't cut any of these out. You want me to pick my favorite child, too, while we're doing this? Come on. That team's so deep. I mean,
it is. Millett's got to be in there. Youngblood. I mean, there's 8. I just named 8 right there.
Yeah.
And only gave you one true big man. I didn't have Sherrell in there. Oh, Darion Reed. How did I forget Darion Reed?
Darion Reed's a big NBA prospect. Sherrell.
So see, like if you try
sometimes I think Sherrell's going to be better than Omori.
Yeah, you try to cut it down to an 8-man rotation. That's hard to do.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Some of that is also going to be opponent dependent, right? Like if I need to go big, I'm going to see a lot more of Reed and Sherrell and Amore. If I need more guards, we're going to get a lot more Youngblood and Millette and Aiden Holloway.
Yeah. See, I can't do it. I can't pare it down.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, and I don't think he will either. I don't think
there's any reason you have to play an 8-man rotation.
No.
You don't have to do it. There's no rule that says you have to, but you've got to have rotations where everybody's comfortable together out there, right?
That's to me, that's the key is who's on the court together.
Right.
That's what you want to fine tune.
You could
how they complement each other.
You could almost go hockey line changes here. He's not going to do it that way because it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to play that way. But you could do a 5-for-5 line change and not have a ton of drop off.
All right, so that's college basketball. Again, Auburn, best team in the country at this point. Alabama's really good. The SEC is fantastic, though. The SEC did yesterday. Ohio State, who Auburn drilled in Atlanta, beat Kentucky by 20.
Yeah, that was a pretty stunning outcome for me. I don't know about you. I did not see that one coming.
In a great basketball rivalry, Illinois beat Missouri in a neutral site game in St. Louis, right there on the Illinois-Missouri border. And that border, they even have a trophy for that annual basketball game. So a couple of SEC losses there. Other than that, it's been a historic start to the season for the Southeastern Conference in basketball. That's why it took up so much of our time on the show today in the middle of the college football playoffs. We'll get back to our college football conversation in this segment and our next segment, and with Tom Luginbill coming up at 10:30. One more thought on the college football playoffs before we get to the top of the hour, after we tell you about a couple of our great sponsors. One of them, Brownie, is the Birmingham Bowl itself. More college football coming to town. We got Georgia Tech and Vandy coming to town.
Yeah, a really good matchup there with Georgia Tech and Vandy. Should see Diego Pavia and Haynes King, both guys expected to play in this one. Pavia's got currently got more eligibility. So you can go down to Birmingham and see the Birmingham Bowl. Get tickets now on the website there for the Birmingham Bowl. Georgia Tech and Vanderbilt on the 27th. Still time to make that a stocking stuffer for the family members that love football in your family.
That's right. Go online. You can buy those tickets today. And don't wait. Could end up selling out before it's all said and done. So if you're local and want to get in there before more Tech and Vandy fans, get those tickets today with our friends at the Birmingham Bowl on their website or wherever you buy your tickets. It's a great place to be on the 27th, 2 days after Christmas. Also by our friends at New Life, Urology Centers, New Life. Different ad there, my bad. Our friends at New Life Art, holiday season, that calendar. You can go ahead and print that coupon and then pick up the calendar. And then the legend, Nick Saban, 6 national championships in Tuscaloosa, 7 overall. Daniel A. Moore makes the painting the legend right there. You can get that at your convenience right there at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com, or get the calendar, the 2025 calendar with some great artwork there from Daniel A. Moore. Get 20% off that with the promo code TNR. It's all right there at danielmooreart.com, danielmooreart.com. All right, back to the college football playoffs, the broadcast parts of it. Shane Gillis, is that his name, the comedian?
Yes, it is. Very funny guy. I like Shane Gillis a lot.
Yeah, he was just having some fun, but he hit a nerve, I believe, with Nick Saban.
You think? Maybe?
Yeah. He did he do it on camera first? Or was it off camera where he insinuated that maybe, Nick Saban and the SEC paid players?
Yeah.
Oh, that was on camera.
Yeah, it was on camera.
Yeah, right before he called Nick Saban Alabama Jones.
Yeah, Alabama Jones, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
Then later on, Shane backpedals a little bit. And it's like, Coach,
it was a joke. I was just kidding.
Joke. Is this not a fun show?
Yeah. And then,
is this not a fun show?
It's not a comedy show. We don't laugh on this show.
And by the way, very few people other than McAfee was in there trying to bail him out.
They knew he had hit a nerve, right?
And by the way, I've seen that Saban look many, many times. Sometimes pointing directly at me during one of the coaches' shows.
Yeah. And then Gillis was like, "Man, I'm nervous now." Like you could tell Gillis didn't want to make any jokes. And then Saban does the old, the integrity was important to him. Our cheat code basically was putting players in the NFL. Getting NFL players and putting them in the NFL.
Yeah.
He didn't get the humor. That was one of those jokes where everybody's laughing until you go. You step into that one area where you don't joke about that with Jim.
Yeah,
you don't joke about that with Nick.
Yeah.
Like,
it wasn't.
They'll laugh at this, but you don't joke about that with them.
It wasn't the Tony Curry comment to an open room
That one was
right
awkward.
before Alabama Notre Dame, but it was close.
Where me, you, and Lance are the next speakers. Tony makes the joke. It's like, all right, guys, come on up. And the room's like,
all right, that's my time. Here's Lance, Jim, and Ryan.
Yeah. We have to take over a room that is still
mumbling like, did he just say that?
And then to our right, people coming up and complaining to the suit Ryan Haney. I was like, yikes.
Yikes.
So anyway, I think Alabama's going to beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, so Reese had to transition. All right, let's get to those picks. A little extra time on the picks tonight. But a fun weekend of the college football playoffs, and I think the next round will be better. I know you're upset, Brownie, that they're not on campus.
I am. It should be on campus all the way up to the championship game. You're going to see the empty seats. You're going to see the empty seats in the next round. That's going to be the problem and it's not going to be as good an atmosphere. This thing should be on campus all the way up to the championship game. Georgia. Think about this. If you had Georgia hosting Notre Dame.
Yeah, so you don't think Georgia Notre Dame will be packed at the Superdome in New Orleans?
That one will probably be packed. I think you'll see some empties at the Rose Bowl.
You think you'll see some empties at the Rose Bowl? Ohio State and Oregon, a traditional Rose Bowl matchup?
Yeah, I do. I think you'll see some empties there. You'll definitely see empties in Atlanta.
There cannot be empty seats at the Rose Bowl.
There can be in there. Have you ever watched a UCLA game there?
But it's the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
It's traditional matchup. It's Ohio State and Oregon on January the 1st. It's the way the Big Ten and the Pac-12 dreamed it up.
The only thing, let me back.
And by the way, that game could be for the national championship.
Right now, Oregon has not played since the Big Ten championship, but having watched Ohio State the other night, it does feel like those might be the two best teams left. But again, that's the thing about a 14 playoff. That's going to change from game to game. It is really difficult to put that type of performance together for 4 consecutive games.
Yeah, against
really difficult against quality opponents.
Yeah. But I think that will be good.
The one thing that will help the Rose Bowl, let me just quickly say, is that community does support that game very, very well. The Rose Bowl is very important to that community. Right. It might not be packed with Ohio State and Oregon fans, but you are probably right. There will not be empties. One thing that will help Notre Dame, Georgia, is the Catholic population in New Orleans.
And there are Notre Dame fans everywhere.
That's right.
And they travel well. Yeah. And Georgia fans travel well.
It's a big Catholic town, and that means a lot of people that Notre Dame might not be their primary team. It might be LSU, but Notre Dame's their secondary team because they're Catholic.
Yeah.
So that will help there. Now, Atlanta
and the Fiesta Bowl.
And the Fiesta Bowl is going to have issues.
Yeah. Fiesta Bowl, Penn State, Boise.
That's right.
Because if you're Penn State, you're a Penn State fan, you're sitting there going, well, wait, we're about to win this.
That's right.
We're going to beat Boise.
I'm not going to pay that money to travel. I'll save my money for the next round, which I think for them is the orange, right? Or is it
Cotton or orange?
Whatever it is.
Yeah. So it's either Miami or Dallas. I'll save it for then.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And then for the national championship.
Yeah. So
back to Atlanta.
And if you're Boise, their home stadium holds 38,000.
That's right.
That's their home stadium. So how many Boise fans, if you have every fan that ever goes to one of their home games, every one of them go to this game. Yep. It's still only about half the stadium.
And then Texas to Atlanta, we were just there if we went to the SEC championship.
And where they might have had 25% of the stadium, maybe.
And I want to go back for the national championship in Atlanta.
That's right.
I'll probably skip this trip because we're playing Arizona State. We're about to beat their eyes out. It's what a Texas fan is thinking. Arizona State fans excited to be in the playoffs. They'll travel well.
But what is well for Arizona State?
What is well for Arizona State? Yeah. So I'm with you on those. Those two atmospheres will be weird. I'm okay with Georgia, Notre Dame in the Superdome. I'm okay with Oregon, Ohio State at the Rose Bowl. I'm sort of excited that those two are in those venues.
I know the on-campus is great.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm okay with that. But it's January 1st.
But you would grant me it would be a better atmosphere in Sanford Stadium.
Oh, on-campus will always be a better
and a better atmosphere in Alston Stadium. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
It'll always be better on campus. Always. All right. There you go. Back to the games that we saw. Point spread on what's about to happen in the next round. Those are interesting. We'll talk about that. At some point, hopefully, TV ratings on how they ended up doing opposite of the NFL for a couple of games. I think Friday night, Saturday night will be fine. The two games in the middle of the day that ended up not being very entertaining. It'll be interesting to see how they did against, truthfully, not very entertaining NFL games.
Yeah, those games. Well, I mean, Texas Chiefs was close.
Yeah.
Ravens pulled away from Steelers.
But I'm just not a huge NFL guy compared to meaningful college football. You know, I'm a playoff guy, or my Buccaneers. So that's we'll set the table. We'll talk some TV ratings. We'll talk some point spread and move this forward into the playoffs coming up in hour 2. The show being brought to you by our friends at A+, man. A+ is there to get that house looking right for 2025.
It is, man. Maybe heading into 2025, maybe you got like a Christmas bonus, a little extra money sitting around, and you're like, hey, let's update our house. A+ Bath and Kitchen can do that for you. A+bathandkitchen.com. That is the website, A+bathandkitchen.com. Brad Bell is the guy there, and he specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. That's his specialty. Not to say it's all he does, but it is definitely his specialty. And if you're tired of the way that old, outdated room in your house looks, he can help you. They've got financing options. Their crews do tremendous work. My wife found him when it came time to redo our master bath. She scoured the internet looking for the right person. This is the guy she found. I'm glad she did because he did tremendous work for us and his crews did tremendous work for us. Here's Brad's number, 205-422-1758. That's 205-422-1758 or aplusbathandkitchen.com.
And our friends at Ghost Energy will tell you who's getting ghosted with the new point spreads right there. Brought to you by our friends at Ghost Energy. Ghost Hydration, authentic flavors, zero sugars, and no BS. Look for Ghost Energy and Ghost Hydration at all retailers that sell energy and hydration drinks near you. Ghost Energy. EG joins us in the next segment as well with 4 downs. Hang around. Merry Christmas from all of us at the next round.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? That's a bold question, but it's got that irresistible taste to back it up. Well, one thing's for sure, when you've got an irresistible tasty match like zero sugar and 0 calories, something sensational is bound to happen. It's too bad you can't taste with your ears because this Coke Zero Sugar tastes amazing. You know, it's hard to put into words, and that's my job. You'll have to take a taste for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar, best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access Jim anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service.
The day after Christmas is like a big lump of coal. But the day after Christmas is the Birmingham Bowl.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we've got the Myrtle Beach Bowl that's going on right now. Coastal Carolina and UTSA. I mean, Coastal Carolina, did they walk to the stadium?
I hate it when this has happened to South Alabama. They've had to play in their bowl game. I just hate it when you have to play in your own stadium.
Yeah. I think it's happened to New Mexico or New Mexico State, whichever one plays at that stadium. Boise, I think, has had to play in the Potato Bowl before.
Potato Bowl.
Which is later on today, I think, right? Northern Illinois and Fresno State. Northern Illinois has to be feeling good about their strength of schedule after seeing Notre Dame win. Hey, Emily Grace McWaters here.
Hey, guys.
What's
Merry
up,
Christmas.
Probably a good time to tell everybody, Brown, about our plan the rest of the week. I don't know if we've shared it with everybody. This isn't a humble brag, but we have been blessed with, since we started our show in 2010 together, our first shows were in Pasadena for the Alabama-Texas National Championship game.
Yep.
The next year over the holiday season, we were in Arizona for Auburn, Oregon. The next season, we were in New Orleans over the holiday season for the National Championship, Alabama-LSU. Next holiday season, we were in Miami for Alabama-Notre Dame. Holiday season. Next season, 2013, we were over the holiday season in Pasadena for Auburn-Florida State for the National Championship. 2014, over the holidays, we were in New Orleans for the Ohio State beating of Alabama. 2015, the desert, Dallas and then the desert.
I bet this memory right
I
here.
know.
2016 was New Orleans. Nope, it was...
it was New Orleans and Atlanta. No, that was 2017.
2016 was somewhere and then Tampa.
Where was it? For Dallas and Tampa, I think, right?
Back
was
to
that
back
Alabama, Michigan
State? It was
State?
Dallas and Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
This is...
Yeah, but then we ended up in holidays there, holidays in 2017. It wasn't until 2019
we got holidays off.
Got a break.
Yeah. Thank you, LSU.
Yeah. So we're off this year, and we're going to take an extended first time ever, we're going to take an extended Christmas break as an entire show.
That's right.
That's awesome.
This is our last show of the week. You will have nothing. Well, we got some videos that will drop, some preview videos that you'll see. But as far as a live show goes, we are back live after today. Our next live show will be 1 week from today on the 30th.
Yeah.
The entire staff off. Everybody gets a break. It's the only way to do it. And like you said, we've not been able to do it in years past because of the success of in-state football.
We've always wanted to do it. Our friends Rick and Bubba, their show has ended, but they always did that. They would do a show, and then the entire staff would take a Christmas break.
Not a sports show, so it was easier for them. Yeah.
And I always thought to myself, man, we need to do that, but our football teams are too damn good.
There are still games that we've got to talk about. And look, I mean, if Alabama or Auburn win the playoffs, it might be a different decision for us, but they're not. So we're going to take advantage of that. And we are out for the rest of this week, enjoying Christmas, and we'll be back on the 30th.
And it times out so well because we come back on the 29th, and then we're preparing Alabama's bowl game, and we're preparing for the playoffs, the next round of the playoffs. It just times out really good on the calendar. So we hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas, and we're got the rest of this show going, but then enjoy your time away from us for a week, and then plan on being back here a week from today for our next live show, and we'll be back together. EG's here to talk a little football. She was cuddled up at her home watching the playoffs just like we were. I'll go give me your thought on the first round of the playoffs, then we'll talk about some of the games specifically and get to some point spreads about the next round. Just watching, I've seen a lot of bad postseasons. I'm older than you. You're basically a playoff child, BCS
I know,
and playoff child.
I am. I'm a baby.
Yeah. Do you have no memory of the fact that the number one team would play in one bowl game, the number two team would play in a different bowl game?
She was born after the BCS.
Yeah.
2001 was the year I was born.
But how stupid does this sound? So used to, like if the number one team was a Big Ten team, they'd be in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
And if the number two team was an SEC team, they'd be in the Sugar Bowl. They don't play.
Yeah. And the number three team could have been in the Orange Bowl.
Could have been the Orange Bowl, and everybody. Now there was a little bit of excitement on New Year's Day because you were having to watch all those games. If this team lost, if this team lost.
But really,
we never had number one versus number two. It used to be this. God, I sound so old.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Please.
Little T's the same way.
Little T's the same way.
She was born after the BCS.
It was such a big deal when number one and number two played, whether it was in the regular season or the postseason. It would like one of the biggest games of our lifetime. The Fiesta Bowl bought the national championship game. Penn State was independent, and Miami was an independent.
Right.
So they didn't have any bowl tie-ins.
Yeah.
And they were number one, number two. And the Fiesta Bowl said, y'all don't go anywhere. We'll pay both of y'all to come here.
And we'll match you guys up.
And E.G., you would have thought it was, I mean, I don't know what you would have thought, but I mean, for number one and number two to play, it was like, oh my gosh.
What year was that?
87?
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere there.
86, 87?
Yeah.
No, you were not even a thought.
That is crazy to think about.
I mean, it's
I
just
don't know.
wild.
Mark's a dreamer.
Mark is a dreamer. Yeah.
But that was like such a big deal that we're actually going to see number one, number two. Everybody got so excited about it, and the game delivered. It was an excellent game.
So do you? I know you guys don't want to go back to that.
No, we're far better off.
Far better off.
Such a better system.
Even with blowouts.
Were there elements to that when it shifted, because you guys know both, that you missed of the BCS?
Well, I'll tell one quick story. There used to be a show called Country Boy Eddie that would air like at 5 a.m. here locally. And the day after January 1 on January 2nd, before there was social media, the Associated Press poll would come out on a ticker, a machine inside newsrooms and newspaper offices. It would print out almost like Western Union. And Herb Winch is a local sportscaster. This would have been, I want to say it was in the 78 or 79 season. And I remember waking up early because he had promoted, I will be up on Country Boy Eddie, and as soon as the AP poll comes across the ticker, we will break whether Alabama's national champions or not. So you had to wait to find out if Alabama was voted national champions or not.
So that makes more sense as to why there are some disputed ones along the way.
Co-champions, disputed ones, claimed ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we lost a little bit
so
of that.
So that element, you kind of was like, that's pretty cool.
But the on-campus this weekend, what did you think?
Love the thoughts. I think that was the only thing that they got right, was the on-campus element. And I agree with your tweet too, Brown. I saw that. But I was so excited of preparation, like, let's go watch these games, and they didn't deliver. And I do think that we knew that was going to happen in a certain form or fashion, but it was very lackluster. It was not what you wanted for the first weekend of this new format. Yep. I love the on-campus. I think that is incredible, but beyond that, it was very disappointing.
Yeah, I'm 100% with EG.
And I'm okay with the weather. I mean, it impacts games. I really believe, and I didn't say this about Tennessee earlier, I'm going to say it here, and we got Tennessee fans in our chat room. I thought the weather impacted their team a little bit too. And they said it on the broadcast, the hits, Herb Street having played the game, when it's as cold as it was,
the hits hurt a little bit more.
Yeah.
They hurt a little bit more. And I know Dylan Sampson was hurt. I'm not saying he shied away from wanting to play in this game. He obviously didn't. He's a warrior. But without Dylan Sampson in that game, you lost a big weapon.
Right, you did. And then you factor in the elements, and it just, I don't mind the sentiment of you want SEC teams to go play in the cold. I do think that's definitely a narrative, like, oh, let's make you guys come to our house. But I will say I think that game in Neyland Stadium could have gone a lot different.
Could have. It
could have. Not saying it would have.
Me either. That Ohio State team, if they play to their potential, I don't know if there's anybody better than them in the country. Maybe it's Oregon. But, his hamstring, could he have, if it had been 80 degrees and sunny, would he have played a little bit more? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, when you see Nico's helmet crack on the
on the first possession,
that was insane.
Yeah, I mean, that probably rattles you as a Southern team at that point. Yeah, you're like,
a little bit.
Dang, our helmets are breaking. Because they were all sports fans, so they all watched that Patrick Mahomes game where the helmet broke and shattered because it was so cold.
Yeah.
They probably are sitting here going, that just added to the fact that it's cold, guys.
Now, I will say my biggest takeaway from Tennessee was Nico. I loved watching him throughout the duration of that game.
His numbers are not fantastic, but I thought the same thing, and they got beat 42-17.
And he ran way more than I think they wanted him to run.
He was 14 of 31 for 104.
I think he had 13 first half carries though, and I mean, boy, you can't ask that much out of your quarterback.
I'm like you. I watched him and I was like, he's sort of growing up right here.
Yes, I agree, and I thought that, like you said, Brown, you can't put your body in that position. There was a few times like, oh my goodness, the helmet cracks.
Yeah.
But he was fun to watch, and he just was tough to me. And it was.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I'm watching him. I'm saying he wants to win this game.
But I will say, I mean, and Lance brought this up last week because Lance from day one said this one's going to be a blowout, right? And I doubted Lance on that.
Did anyone else have Ohio State winning? I picked Tennessee.
I picked Tennessee to win.
Did you have Tennessee?
Let's run through them really quickly, and then we're going to do 4 downs. While Forscher's getting him up to run through all the picks up here, while you guys are out here, did you do Golfers, Brown?
I have not. I can tell everybody about the Golfers. I got some good news for the Golfers. Location number 2 open today.
No way.
That's right.
Which
in
one?
Trussville.
So we got Trussville and where?
We got Trussville and Vestavia.
All right.
Trussville and Vestavia. Nice. So here's I'll go ahead and give you the Trussville location.
You want to go play one day on our during our
I'm
going
to be out of town.
No. I'll write that down.
3575 Van Road. That's just off Highway 11 in Trussville. Okay, Van Road is just off Highway 11 in Trussville. That's location number 2 of the Golfus. They've also got Highway 31 in Vestavia coming soon to 280, but go see that brand new location in Trussville. What is the Golfus, you might ask? It's a great alternative to the office. It is Birmingham's best indoor golf simulators. It is always 70 degrees. There's never any wind. There's never any rain. You can play great courses that you love, that have hosted major championships that you've seen on TV, right there at the Golfus. It's not too late, by the way. They will still give you sell to you a digital gift certificate for that loved one in your life, or a Christmas gift. You could set it where it just arrives in their email on Christmas Day. They'll print it out if you would like that as well. To book a time, to book a bay, to schedule a party. Great place for parties. Bring your own clubs, bring your own food, bring your own drink. Here's the website, thegolfus.com. Go ahead. Settle down, Jim. Thegolfus.com. Get out of the office. Get in the Golfus.
And our friends at Hemp Hill Services, hot, cold, hot. Our friends at Hemp Hill will help you not only with your heating and your cooling, but also your plumbing. It's the name Birmingham's trusted since the 1950s. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or your business, they're ready to serve you. The wonderful folks at Hemp Hill, they bring you Lance's Lock every day. You see the QR code there for lanceslock.com. Call Hemp Hill for everything your home needs, 205-229-2090, 205-229-2090. I tell you what, Forrester, we'll save those for later in the show on how we picked it. Not everybody picked Tennessee. Yeah. I'll just tell you guys that. All right, let's do 4 downs here. We got to get to this before we get to Tom Luginbill in the next segment. That's YEG. She'll be back for trash. So, Forrester, we'll do the company picks before trash. Sorry to get you all queued up back there. All right, 4 downs brought to you by our friends at Slice, the great slice pizza that the folks up here eat all the time when we're on the road. Great homemade yeast there that is the crust. It's all about the crust. Well, it's a yeast-based crust.
Homemade yeast.
Yeah.
PG, your reaction was perfect.
Yeah.
As soon as he said it, you,
Well, I said yeast, but it's crust. Crust is what I'm looking for. It's all about the crust. Yeah. Tell us about Slice.
Yeah, why don't I do it? SliceBirmingham.com. The Bajalia brothers founded it, and they still run it today. Great unique pizzas. You can see more of and find any of the 5 Birmingham locations at SliceBirmingham.com. Please, Tyler, hit the button.
First down.
Christmas Eve or Christmas Day?
I'm Christmas Eve. I love Christmas.
You almost said yeast again.
Yeah.
What is up with you?
I love Christmas yeast, too. We make some great rolls at our house. I say Christmas Eve because we go to church on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, Christmas Eve's a fun night.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah.
So for us on Christmas Eve, we have a tradition in our house. We do, I'm not going to be able to think of the word, where you...
Not yeast.
Where we have a lot of... we have charcuterie boards.
Yep.
But we also pull out our set, and the only time we do this is on Christmas Eve as a family, where you spear stuff and you dip it into chocolate.
Fondue.
We do a fondue.
What is?
Okay. Spear
What is
stuff.
fondue? So we do that, but I'll go to the 11 o'clock candlelight service at our church, and
Sounds magical.
Christmas Eve is fantastic.
Yeah.
No, it really is. I do love Christmas Eve. Christmas Day is a great day, but Christmas Eve, the Christmas Eve service is my favorite church service of the year. You know, you do the candlelight there at the end. Everybody's just in a festive mood. We always either go to lunch before or dinner after with the family. My mom and dad will come over for it every year. And then once you get back home on Christmas Eve, it's just so peaceful.
I agree.
Playing music in the background.
Playing music in the background. Everybody's so excited.
Wrapping some last minute gifts. When
Yeah,
the kids go
I
to
think I like
sleep.
Christmas Eve better than I
I'm
do
Christmas Eve,
Day.
too.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
That surprised you. You thought somebody was going to say Christmas
Yeah.
Day.
Yeah.
Tyler, Lionel, back there, what are you?
You Christmas Eve?
I'm Christmas Eve. I like the anticipation, and I like just the Christmas Eve dinner. We've started doing just like a bunch of like appetizers.
Yeah, that's the
and
way to
little
go right
finger
there.
foods for Christmas Eve.
I like
It's
that.
great.
Yeah.
We
Second down.
It showed up in our house on Saturday. We've already got the honey baked
fondue bowl?
ham.
Oh, the honey
Love.
baked ham. Yeah.
Okay, staying on the Christmas theme. If you had to invite one historical figure to spend Christmas with you, Eve and Day, who would it be and why?
Other than Jesus?
Yeah,
Other than Jesus.
The church answer is Jesus. It's your day.
Other than Jesus.
But this person goes to church with you, dinner, they're there for the whole thing.
That is a great question.
Thank you.
One person, one historical figure.
I told you they were thought-provoking.
Yeah, that is thought-provoking.
I would
don't
go
know.
Nick Saban, but he apparently has too many rules. His verbose commercials are...
There's a great barbecue. Do not use it.
Yeah, no fun.
Yeah.
2 flushes. Historical figure, man, that's a tough one for me.
Anyone.
I mean, presidents really I don't want to... On a president I don't want to pull him back because, like Ronald Reagan, if you spend time with him, you may end up being like, God, really, he's not as good as I thought he was.
But you also have Secret Service you got to deal with.
Yeah.
Traveling
But
with
I
them.
bet those guys are fun, though.
I bet they are.
I'd enjoy talking to them probably more than I would the presidents.
Yeah. I think I'd go maybe like Princess Diana. I feel like she'd be fun.
Interesting.
She'd be sweet
I was not
to
thinking.
hang out with.
I have a feeling she would take her shoes off, though, and... listen, I've got no problem with women's feet.
You have a feeling about it, or you want that to happen?
No, I'm just saying, I don't like it when guests take their shoes off inside the house. They get so comfortable.
Oh, you don't like people to be too comfortable in your house?
Yeah, friends and family are
Yeah.
okay, like close friends and family. But if you're over just for Christmas Eve and she takes off the slippers and she's just kicked back, it's Princess Diana's scrubbing her foot on my sofa, scratching it or something.
Yeah, I could totally see
Yeah,
Princess Diana.
totally. Okay, Brown, anyone coming to mind?
This is so hard, EG. I don't know. Like, I don't know who I would just want to hang out with, period, much less on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
They go to everything, too. Think on it. Think on it.
They go to everything. I may have one by the end.
Okay, Lionel?
The only thing I could think of was Robin Williams.
Oh.
But not a historical figure, but...
Why
That'd be fun.
It'd be fun to hang out with.
Seems like he'd dominate the conversation.
Well, I think
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Tyler's a listener, not a talker.
He probably would just show up, though, wanting to just have a nice church service, nice meal, celebrate, and you'd be wanting him to entertain you.
That's right, yeah.
He'd be like, guys, I'm not working now. This is Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Scott Forster said Shane Gillis.
All right, third down. If you could instantly become an expert in one field, what would it be?
Golf. Easy, golf. Did you watch any of the PNC?
I saw Charlie's hole-in-one. I did not watch it live, but Charlie Woods, Tiger's son, hit a hole-in-one. And the crazy part was Tiger had gone to the bathroom. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, Tiger had stepped off into the portalette. It was using the bathroom while his son hit his first ever hole-in-one. I mean, how awful is that timing?
I've never had one. I've been in the group that's had one twice. And both times it was bachelor related on a wedding weekend. And both times it was a raised tee, different golf courses, but a raised tee. And both times I was in the cart eating a sandwich and missed the hole in one both times.
Yeah.
Different group of friends, but both times.
At least I had a sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blood sugar. I got a blood sugar.
What would yours be, Dunaway?
If I think I would really want to be able to sing.
To sing?
Yeah, I want to be able to sing. I cannot carry a tune in the bucket. I lip sync at church. I just would love to be able to sing.
Yeah.
I think I would want to do like biochemistry or something like that. Not that I have a passion for that, but just to know how to do it.
Biochemistry.
Yeah.
So you would want that knowledge, but you wouldn't use it.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I would use it, but like I don't know. That'd be cool to wake up and like understand all of that.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to sing.
Kind of unexpected. Lionel?
I don't know, not biochemistry. You're not beating the Russian agent allegations.
I know. That comes up every time. I don't know where that started. I'm not Russian, I promise.
Yeah, that's what you would say.
That is what I would say.
Yep.
Yikes.
Fourth down.
Okay.
Fourth down.
If you could combine two teams of any era of college football to make the ultimate team, what two teams would they be?
I would take.
You mentioned one of them. I think I would take Brown earlier.
So I combine these.
You can combine the two rosters.
Yeah.
I would take
and
the
it works.
2020 Alabama offense, and I would take either the 2011 or, ironically, a team that lost in the national championship game, 2016 Alabama defense.
I would go back to one of those vintage Miami defenses that had Ed Reed. What year was that?
I don't care. Mine would be two.
I know yours is going to be all Alabama. That was the most predictable thing ever. And maybe the Tommy Frazier-led triple option Nebraska offense.
Triple option,
yeah.
Getting some respect.
Yeah, Tommy Frazier, the way they ran that triple option, and you pair it with one of those Miami defenses. Yes, sir.
Now it would be like they'd play against today's team. So if that's weighs in.
Hey, you don't see the triple option.
That's true.
Mine was sort of today's teams, but yeah, 2020 Alabama offense with those great receivers. And then either one of those Alabama defenses, 11 or 16, and they wouldn't be beat.
My alternate question was going to be, and I'll just tell you guys, was going to be what team, if they had to run plays from 50 years ago, to be the most successful?
That's a good question.
On it.
Yeah, I think on that
Think
one.
on it.
EG made us think, man. I don't like thinking.
What can I say?
That's Emily Grace, and that's our Four Downs, brought to you by our friends at Slice Browning.
They got 4 or 5 now. Great Birmingham locations, 4 Downs, 5 locations, slicebirmingham.com.
And our friends at Coca-Cola.
Yeah, don't forget, a great way to start a game day was Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coca-Cola ever? Try and decide.
And our friends at the Birmingham Bowl. I'll take this.
You do that one.
You can jump in too.
BirminghamBowl.com.
Our friends at the Birmingham Bowl, BirminghamBowl.com, BirminghamBowl.com. Jump in there and get that last-minute Christmas gift. Kids would love to go to this game to see the rambling wreck of Georgia Tech, their hell of an engineer, take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. A couple of big upsets, including #1 Alabama this year. Georgia Tech and Vandy, the Jackets and the Doors. Wreck 'em and go Doors. I don't know. Do they have a saying?
Anchor down.
Anchor down. That's what it is. Anchor down. All right, there at BirminghamBowl.com, BirminghamBowl.com. Back in a moment with Tom Luginbill. Fresh off the road, he saw the playoffs in person. What he thought of the first 4 games and the next 4 games. It's coming up next right here on TNR.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings accounts, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by the professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, covercrimson.com and thebarnauburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. Covercrimson.com or thebarnauburn.com. Sign up today.
Happy football season. At The Next Round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant-Denny or Jordan-Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to Fall Saturdays.
Hey, this is Matt Roth, the franchisee of Walk On Sports Bistro in Birmingham. With the kickoff of football season, come visit us at one of our 3 locations, Stadium Trace, Greystone, or Trussville. Come enjoy our scratch kitchen menu while watching one of our 80 TVs. Whether you're looking for a pre- or post-game celebration, game day, or date night, we've got you covered. It's all about the win at Walk On Sports Bistro. Walk On, where everybody needs a little playing time.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Alabama Jones, Luginbill Jones is about to join us. He's got a cowboy hat on. Tom Luginbill is going to jump in with us. Don't forget the show being brought to you by our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Listen, guys, so important to stay on your health. You move to your 20s to your 30s. There are some things that you start to need to keep check on. 30s to 40s, 40s to 50s to 60s, and so on. Urology Centers of Alabama can help you out. There are 16 locations, 16 of them in Alabama, so find the one nearest you. Prostate health to kidney stones, everything in between, vasectomies, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com.
All right, Luginbill is fresh back from Happy Valley, where he saw SMU and Penn State in round 1 of the college football playoffs. What is up, Lugs? How are you, my friend?
Good morning, guys. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, all that great stuff.
Yeah, all tied into one. Same to you and the entire Luginbill family. You're on campus every Saturday with college football games. Was this the same feel? Could you feel a little more juice being a playoff game? What was the feel like there in Happy Valley?
It was different. There was more juice, and I think you could feel it sitting at home. You could feel it sitting on your sofa. If you were watching on TV starting on Friday night, just, to have a whiteout game in a college football playoff scenario, and it wasn't at night, and it was 22 degrees. It was about 12 degrees wind chill. You have half the Penn State student section wearing T-shirts. It was gnarly, man, and it was a tough environment. And I think what we saw throughout the entire weekend is that home field played a big role. In 3 of the 4 contests, the weather elements played a big role, and I loved it. I loved the feel for it. I thought it was a bucket list type of item. And then, fast forward to this week, we'll get more. We'll get back into the feel of a true bowl season as we embark on the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I'm really excited for the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl settings. I think those two will be big crowds. We're worried about the other two, but that's a discussion for another day. Should weather be a factor? I mean, that means we're best team doesn't always win if weather's a factor. I think the best teams won this weekend, but if we're going to factor in the weather, everyone keeps talking about had to play in the weather. At some point, weather's going to help an inferior team beat a better team. Is that what we really want in the playoffs? They try to avoid it in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they do try to avoid it in the Super Bowl, but it's really no different than the month of November in the vast majority of this country in college football. You're probably going to be playing in, close to freezing temperatures. And, it's the same for everybody. I know in this particular setting with SMU and Penn State, it had been cold all week long in Happy Valley, and Penn State was practicing indoors. Right? Well, it was 70 degrees in Dallas, Texas, so SMU obviously wasn't able to simulate the cold weather, but you got to handle it. And it's the same for everybody once you step out onto that field. I think it's part of the deal. I think it adds another element to it to challenge the mental toughness, challenge your fortitude, block out what Nick Saban would call the clutter and stuff that doesn't matter, and see who's got the fortitude to withstand it and then utilize it as a positive. And I think we saw that. I agree with you, Jim. The best 4 teams won on this weekend. And listen, it started Friday night, and then you get everybody, this team doesn't belong and that team doesn't belong. Well, guess what? Nobody belonged this weekend. Right? Yeah. The SEC didn't belong. The ACC didn't belong. The Big Ten didn't belong. If you don't like it, I get it. Change the criteria. Make it less subjective. But here's the thing that people have got to remember, and they've got a very, very short memory. And I've gone over this dozens of times since Saturday night. Look at the outcomes of the 14 playoff for 10 years and look at the semifinal games. The vast majority of them were absolute blowouts. I mean, tail kickings. And that was supposed to be the top, 4 to 6 teams. What did you think was going to happen when you start expanding this out to teams that really aren't equipped to win a national championship? We all feel warm and fuzzy about letting them in. But what did you think was going to happen when we saw this already for 10 years in the semifinals when it was just 4?
Yep. ESPN's Tom Luginbill is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, fresh off his trip to Happy Valley. Let's go back to Friday night in Notre Dame as they get ready to play Georgia. If I told you there's a team in that game that's got a quarterback that doesn't really beat you, doesn't make mistakes, he can be labeled as a game manager. They've got a physical run game that is also explosive. They play really solid defense. I'm normally talking about the Georgia Bulldogs, but that is the way Notre Dame is playing right now.
Notre Dame could win the national championship, guys. They have goods that travel. 3 of them in particular. They can run the football, they can stop the run, and they don't beat themselves. And I would actually add, and I've broadcasted a couple of Riley Leonard's games when he was at Duke, but I thought that guy made a ton of plays with his legs and navigating the pocket and getting the ball where it needed to go, maybe more so than he had all year long in the most important of the game of the season to this point. I think that stood out to me about the first round games is like Will Howard's never played like that. Well, to get through this gauntlet, you better have stellar quarterback play. Riley Leonard probably played his best game on Friday night. Quinn Ewers actually looked back like he was back in charge of the offense at Texas. So, listen, I think this is going to be a really, really good football game. I think it's a national championship caliber style game between Georgia and Notre Dame. I think we all got to ask ourselves, right? Which Gunnar Stockton will we see? It's one thing to come off the bench, right, and have great players around you and have momentum. You make some plays and you win the game and everybody's patting you on the back and you played really well and that's exciting. Now you've got 2 weeks to go to get ready for a team like Notre Dame, which is going to be a bit of a different animal. Now you're the starter and it's on you. And this is a Georgia team that has not been able to run the football exceptionally well in terms of a consistent high level of yards per game output. So for me, I think that Notre Dame defensively is going to really test Gunnar Stockton early, whether that's through pressure, whether that's changing the picture post-snap. Let's see what he's capable of if you're Notre Dame on defense. And if you smell blood in the water, expect some pressure all night long.
Well, not to break it down into a Georgia-Notre Dame preview, I do think Notre Dame can beat Georgia because of the quarterback situation, but I think Stockton's going to actually bring the running element in a little bit more.
Yes.
And I think Georgia's offense this whole time off is being reconstructed around Gunnar Stockton, and it may actually fit this group of players better than the Carson Beck. Not that he's better than Carson Beck. I wish Georgia had Carson Beck, but with what they have at receiver, what they have on the offensive line, what they have at running back, the quarterback run element may help this Georgia team in the long run against Notre Dame.
Couldn't agree with you more. You guys have heard me say it for years, that just the impact of a running quarterback on an opposing defense because of how you have to deal with the box, it just changes everything. And so now you add that running element to Georgia's offense with the quarterback position, and it puts Notre Dame in a spot because Indiana didn't have that with Curtis Rourke. That's not who they were. But now Notre Dame's going to have that on defense with Georgia, and I think that could be an X factor, and also something too that just lends to Gunnar Stockton's strength. So you're not taking everything and putting it on his plate in the passing game only, and then just turning around and handing it off. The fact that he'll be a part of that really adds, I think, some diversity to the offense.
I believe that argument about Alabama should have been in, Ole Miss should have been in, South Carolina should have been in, ended when Tennessee got their butts whipped against Ohio State, because that was, somebody who beat Alabama where they finished. I thought that was a pretty bad moment in SEC postseason history. What was your takeaway of how Tennessee looked in that contest?
Well, I think they ran into a bit of a buzzsaw. And, you go into a contest like that with a freshman quarterback, and it's a big moment. And in order to get through a tournament like this, it's no different than the NFL playoffs. The quarterback play is going to have to be exceptional. It's going to have to be really, really strong. And it's going to have to get better each and every week. And out of nowhere, Will Howard comes out with this performance that I don't think anybody saw coming. I mean, Ohio State made it look easy. And that's not an indictment on Tennessee's team or their season. It's an indictment on one evening. And you could say the same thing about SMU. You can say the same thing about Clemson. And for me, I thought they were out. I thought Tennessee was outmanned, and I was really surprised at how their defensive front just disappeared. I mean, James Pierce was non-existent. And in a line of scrimmage type of game on the road, where you got to have good quarterback play, you got to be able to run the football, stop the run. But where they had problems was in the explosive play department. Tennessee could not handle the explosive play on defense, and that was ultimately the difference of the game. And guys, I don't know what we're going to see the rest of the playoff in terms of performance. I know what we've seen throughout the year, right? We've seen Ohio State be very good. We've seen Ohio State look very bad. Same with Georgia. Same with Texas. We've seen this across college football, probably more deficiencies and warts than we've ever seen amongst top-tier teams. But if you told me that Ohio State team was going to be the one that shows up each and every week, I don't see anybody beating that team.
Tom Luginbill is on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Luginbill will next be at the Fiesta Bowl. So
I got the Rate Bowl first.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Luginbill will next be at the Rate Bowl and then the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, but in playoff terms, he'll be at the Fiesta.
Yes. Tackle game day with a great taste of Coke Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Try and decide. Coke Zero Sugar. As much as Ryan Day gets hammered, Luginbill, you got to give him a ton of credit to pick that team up off the mat emotionally. Forget X's and O's. Just the psychology he did with that team.
His job was on the line.
I mean, that's what everybody says. That's what everybody says. His job was on the line. Whether it was or not, Luginbill, that was an amazing psychological job to get his team from where they were at the end of that Michigan game to the way they played against an SEC power. That was an impressive coaching job by Ryan Day.
Unbelievable, all psychological. Imagine the positivity and the personality you have to exude in that building almost every minute of the day after that loss to Michigan to keep your kids on the right path, because it could have gone one of two ways. They could have allowed that Michigan game to just spill right over in the woe is me, feel bad for yourself, and go lay an egg at home against Tennessee. I don't know if you guys saw the walkout when Ryan Day got off the bus and they had him on camera walking through the tunnel, about to enter the horseshoe and walk across the field. He had a walk like he was Vince McMahon coming out of the curtain at a WWE event. I mean, there was swagger, there was determination, there was a look on his face looked like it was steel. And it was like, uh-oh, if this team plays the way he looks, Ohio State's going to be pretty good tonight. So you're right. It was a fantastic job. And, listen, all of the criticism of, Ohio State or even James Franklin at Penn State with big games, highly ranked teams and not coming to the forefront and playing well. They all bought themselves a little bit of time between the next level of criticism with winning.
which will start at some point near the Oregon.
It'll come.
Yeah, it'll come. Look, Clemson's been bad against the run all year. You've seen them a lot, Luke. So all year they have not been able to stop the run. That said, what Texas did to them in the run game the Texas offensive line, and they were losing offensive linemen in that game, and it didn't matter. They were just dominating the front in that game.
It is. To me, it's a bit embarrassing to watch Clemson's personnel on defense play the way they play. There's 3 or 4 first-rounders in that front 7 at Clemson right now. But when you watch them, they're always trying to trick you. They're always trying to move and stunt and line twist and this and that. And sometimes I think they play themselves right out of solid, basic, fundamental football principles because their run fits have been horrendous. They were going back to the Citadel game, back to the Louisville game. They still haven't tackled Lenora Sellers. And we're not talking about a team with bad players. We're talking about a team with NFL caliber players at just about every level. And it's frustrating. And I'm actually surprised that a move hasn't been made from a coaching staff perspective on behalf of Dabo Swinney, because I think they've played themselves out of quality football on that side of the ball that has not allowed for them to match what their talent level is, because that's inexcusable to play that way versus the run. And they're capable of playing with a Texas team, but not when your run fits and your movement and you're out of focus. It's just not going to happen.
I don't know if Texas can run their way to a national championship, but it looks to me like the ankle and still lingering effects of the oblique injury are impacting Quinn Ewers. He almost it works out good with the run game like that. He's game manager, Quinn Ewers, and that sort of works for them. But he's not. I can take my ball and go beat you with my arm, Quinn Ewers, right now. Does Texas have, despite your cowboy hat here, does Texas have the hat to go win and the boots to go win this national championship? They're in the tough side of the bracket, man. They're in the tough side of the bracket.
Well, yeah, and listen, the thing that they have that in an advantage from an advantage perspective against this upcoming opponent is their depth, their competitive depth, their ones, their twos, their threes across the board are going to be so far superior to the opponent that they are playing. And don't get me wrong, it's an unbelievable story. And to be honest with you, I don't think anybody would have wanted to play Arizona State if Arizona State got a first-round game.
Right.
Because that team was so hot and playing so well. Can you carry that momentum over? I don't think Quinn Ewers has even looked close to what he's been capable of or what we've seen of him in the past all year long. It's been a very up and down season. And I know some of that's been injury related, but also I feel like some of it has been a bit confidence related. He doesn't seem to be naturally pulling the trigger. He doesn't seem to be playing street ball and just letting it rip and unleashing it. There's some hesitation there at times. And I think the thing that saves him is when they can run the football. When they can't run the football as effectively as they did the other night, then I think people come after Quinn Ewers, because what Quinn Ewers has shown is if there's people in his face, he'll throw it to the other team. He's done it all year long. The way you keep people out of his face is if they can't stop the run, and then you get in manageable second and third downs, and now it becomes a whole lot easier on the quarterback. I think that is a central focus of Texas, is to run the football, not just because you want to run it, but because you need to give your quarterback some relief. He needs relief.
Can you, speaking of quarterbacks, Penn State didn't have to, flex their offensive muscle because of the pick sixes and things like that.
But they couldn't run on SMU early.
That's what I was about to ask. Yeah. Are you concerned about Penn State's offense even in their next game?
Yes. So I'm glad you guys said that because nobody's brought that up. Penn State could not move the football on SMU,
and they couldn't stop SMU on offense other than the pick sixes, obviously. Yeah,
exactly. And so so much of these games are early moments in the game where a tone has to get set, a play has to get made. Well, the ball gets kicked off. SMU immediately 3 and out. Penn State offense can't convert. Then SMU goes right down the field, and on that 4th and 1,
Yep.
they call a fantastic play call. And if Kevin Jennings just runs for it, he gets the first down. If he throws a better pass, he has a touchdown. And that changed the entire tone of the rest of the first half. And, you know, you would have quieted the crowd. You would have removed that part of the equation. It just goes to show you how little moments are in there. But to your guys' point, Penn State did not score an offensive point until there was 5 minutes to go in the second quarter. And everybody talks about Penn State's run game in the second half. Well, yeah, the defense is on the field the entire game. They just got worn out. But I'm glad you brought that up, because I think that Penn State's going to have to be far more creative, far more dynamic on offense in the Fiesta Bowl. And I'm going to be there on the Penn State sideline covering that side of it than they were against SMU. And I don't know if Penn State thought that they could win the game without and be vanilla, almost be basic, not show their hand, not have any wrinkles, because they weren't near as creative as they've been all year long. Andy Kolomicki, that's a staple of his in that offense. Defensively, they're a handful. That number 11 might be the best defensive football player I have seen in person all year long. I mean, he is on a different level. And listen, the thing that's interesting about this upcoming game is all we hear about is Ashton Genty, right? Can the lay college football fan even tell you the name of Boise State's quarterback?
Not many, no.
Right? And so you're sitting there going, well, something's going to give this week. Because if I'm Tom Allen, the defensive coordinator, why would I not just line up everybody in the box and say, all right, young man, if you can beat us through the air, we're going to shake your hand and congratulate you. But we sure as hell ain't letting number 2 beat us.
That's right.
Right? And nobody seems to have made that commitment. I understand it's group of 5 defenses, and that Boise State is a really good football team, and they've overwhelmed people at the point of attack. I don't think you overwhelm Penn State at the point of attack, especially if they decide to load up that box. It could be tough sledding. And now that quarterback, as I mentioned before, the deeper you get into this, the more the quarterback's going to matter. They got to force him to win the game.
Listen, I was a better sports producer than I was a sports anchor, so I'm going to help you out when you guys starting to plan out your coverage. Go ahead and pull up clips of the 2010 BCS National Championship of Oregon and Auburn slipping on that field that you're about to go to.
Yeah.
Pull up the last Super Bowl clips of people slipping, and then have a hit ready to go on the sidelines, Luginbill, with Penn State's cleats, what they're deciding to wear, and let the equipment guy know it is slicker than you're going to imagine. They try everything, and you'll get to that arena, and it will impact the game. I don't care who's playing, it will impact the game.
I talk to Dave Pasch about this all the time. We've talked about it for 10 years. He's the voice of the Arizona Cardinals, and that field, slides in and out of the stadium. And I don't know if it just doesn't have any type of root structure, but there's clearly a problem. They don't ever seem to address it.
Yeah, no doubt. And while we play meaningful games there, I have no idea. No idea.
Hey, before you go away from the playoff, if you could give us what Auburn is getting in Georgia Tech's Eric Singleton, and what Alabama is getting in Miami's Isaiah Horton, both those receivers going to those two schools out of the transfer portal.
So the thing about Singleton and Georgia Tech, poor Brent Key, he's lost some really good skill guys to the transfer portal because but Singleton is one of the fastest players. He's a 10-3 guy running the 100-meter, but he is a triple threat. He can return kicks, he can return punts, and then he's a threat at all 3 levels of the field because he can catch the bubble screen and turn it into an 80-yard foot race, but he can also stem you up and push the ball vertically. He's going to be a really nice complement that you can move around while you've got Cam Coleman on the outside. I think Horton's one of those guys, and watching him, that was a really good receiving crew as a whole at Miami. Just a really good route runner. I think guys that know how to get open become the reliable go-to guy for the quarterback, because he understands how to eat up cushion, attack alignment, create separation so that the window for the ball and for the quarterback is larger than it would be versus somebody who's maybe just athletic but doesn't know how to manipulate coverage. So I think it's really 2 good pickups. It's a good receiving class in the portal this year, so there were a ton of guys to choose from to upgrade the roster.
All right, very well done. Tom Luginbill, he saw those guys there in the ACC a lot, so and saw them in the recruiting process. So Luke's watched a lot of film on those guys. Lugs, enjoy the Rate Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl. And more importantly, I hope the entire Luginbill family has a Merry Christmas and safe travels.
Merry Christmas to you guys. Thank you very much. And best to all you and your families.
Yep, you too. Thank you, Lugs. Take care, buddy.
All right, guys. See you.
All right, Tom Luginbill with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline.
Brought to you by a couple of great folks, including the folks at Inverness Country Club. Great place to go and enjoy 2025.
Yeah, maybe in 2025 you're like, you know what I want to do? I've been looking for a club home. I want to make Inverness my club home. They've got social memberships where you've got access to the clubhouse, the great resort-style pool. They've obviously got the golf memberships where you've got all of that, plus the golf course and the tennis and all of that. You can see more at iccalabama.com. That is the website, iccalabama.com, for Inverness Country Club. They've even got childcare. You got a business meeting there. You need to drop the kid off, or a business lunch. You could do that. Just want to play 9, or maybe a couple of sets of tennis. You could do that. Great childcare there. All of that in Inverness. Call Erin today. Let her know you're interested, and some membership information at Inverness Country Club, or just visit them on the web, iccalabama.com.
BirminghamBowl.com, BirminghamBowl.com. Not too late to stuff that stocking a little bit more with college football. Georgia Tech, the rambling wreck from Georgia Tech. And anchor down, Vanderbilt. The guys had a couple of big wins this year, including the one over number 1 Alabama. Go cheer them on in the Birmingham Bowl. It's the day after Christmas. Not the day after Christmas, but the day after Christmas. On December 27th down at Protective. Get ready to go and enjoy the Birmingham Bowl, a tradition here in town, and a great matchup, Georgia Tech and Vandy. The best of Nashville, the best of Atlanta, all coming to the Magic City, BirminghamBowl.com. A couple of sound bites here from those that are still moving forward in the playoffs. Now, let's go with the losers. Let's hear from the losers.
Oh, man.
Give me cut number 6 first, Kirk Cignetti. Now, if you watch Coach Sig on game day, he talked a little crap.
Saban pointed that out.
Saban said, well, you may have learned a lot from me. You didn't learn about the shit talking.
Yeah, that's right.
Here's Cignetti, a different tone after the loss to Notre Dame.
When you think about everything that this team accomplished this year, how do you think this team should be remembered?
Well, you are what your record says you are, right? So 11-2, tied for second in the Big Ten, made the college football playoff. And packed the stadium, made a lot of people proud, and had a historic season, right? And so set the foundation for, hopefully what's to come.
I didn't. The surrender punt.
Look,
it was just so odd to me. They're not winning the game either way.
But he's playing then for scoreboard.
That's right. That's what I didn't understand. Like,
instead of for the win.
Who cares if you lose by 17 or 34? What's it matter?
That's right.
At that point, you've lost the game. It's your final game of the year. You don't have to peel the kids back up.
Josh Heupel could have played it differently too. I don't know if the score would have been differently if he was trying to save image. He kept trying to win the football game.
Yeah, and I did not understand that. And Cignetti was asked about it after the game. He said, I didn't want to punt there, but my offense was doing anything. I'm like,
yeah,
but then go for it. I mean, if you didn't want to punt, go for it.
Yeah,
you're down 17.
It's the playoffs.
Yeah, I did not understand. You're right. That was all about, now I don't want my team to get blown out in their only playoff appearance.
That's right.
It was a surrender punt. Notre Dame, of course, what do? They take it, 6.5 minutes to go score. And the game was already over. It's more than over at that point.
Yeah, and then Indiana scores 14 points in 87 seconds to make the score look different.
Yeah, it was.
But that game was a blowout.
Yeah.
And listen, Indiana being in, there's no way to keep them out. Okay?
Yeah, they're 11-1 major conference team.
If you're in the SEC and you're the Big Ten and you are tied for second, you're going to get a bid in this thing. So I didn't have a problem with Indiana being in. Did I know what was happening was coming? Probably so. Yeah. Not as much as I thought was going to happen with Ohio State over Tennessee. I didn't think it'd be a blowout, but I thought Ohio State would win that game. But then here's Rhett Lashley, cut number 7, Tyler, if you will. Rhett Lashley on SMU losing this game. Now, this is where the debate ended up being, right? SMU or another SEC team. And SMU got put into this thing, and I actually think they made a better showing, take away the pick sixes.
It's hard to do, but I don't disagree with you.
Than Indiana did. Here's Rhett Lashley afterwards.
Look, it is what it is. We didn't play well enough to say anything that isn't going to be written.
to say anything against what isn't going to be written. I mean, it's going to be written, should we have been in, or did we belong, and that's fine. They can. Everyone here, you're welcome to write it. You were here. We didn't play very good today, and but this team's a quality team. We had a good team. We deserved to be here. We earned the right to be here. Disappointed we didn't play to the level that validates that. But it's hard right now because that's a really crushed locker room. A lot of seniors that know they're not going to play anymore. This team's not together anymore. The further they get from this moment, they'll realize what they did this year and what a special year it was. Only one team's going to hold up the trophy at the end. It's not going to be us. But what they did was special.
Yeah, it was. First of all, punch that up real quick. Just still shot. That's a fly jacket. I know we like that. I know we don't say fly anymore. Whatever you folks call cool now. I love that jacket.
They had to bust those out because you do not need those in the regular season at SMU. They were like, Coach, we got to go to the bookstore and get some jackets for everybody.
That's a good-looking jacket.
Yeah, I do like it. I'm with you on that.
And they did a lot of amazing things. Well, they did a lot of amazing things this year.
They did.
In their first year of the ACC.
So it was a lot like Indiana. So Indiana gets the early pick of Riley Leonard, and they're driving down, and Rourke just throws the pick, and you lose points there. It wasn't a pick, but it was the fourth down where Jennings, rather than just get the first and have, I think it was going to be first and goal. It might have still been first and 10. I can't remember exactly where it was on the field. You try to throw it to a guy who's open. I mean, he didn't throw it to a covered guy. He threw it to an open guy. It was just a bad throw.
The DB's closing.
Yeah. Not the guy's open for a TD.
Yeah.
I mean, if you throw it in the right spot, that is a touchdown.
And by the way, that guy, too, not to take it off of Jennings' plate, but that guy, too, instead of trying to make a circus catch and score a touchdown, at that point,
secure
go down,
the ball.
cradle it, and be down on the 2-yard line of the 1-yard line.
Yeah, tight end. So, you're not asking a receiver to do that either. But you don't recover from that. And the same thing happened to Indiana. You got that pick early. That's gifted points to you, and you get no points out of it. SMU, you drive. You've got points right there. You get no points out of it. You just cannot do that on the road in tough environments in those situations and survive. You could almost feel it as soon as it happened. You're like, both of the teams, that might have been their best chance right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's their reaction to not being in. Those were the two debated teams, and Brett Lashley saying it there. People are going to write it, and they did. And then I think they were helped out by the fact that Tennessee, the SEC team, got their butts whipped, and that toned down that conversation quite a bit, don't you think?
Yeah. Well, the difference though is another SEC team won, and they did beat an ACC team too. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, it did tone it down the way Tennessee got beat. If Tennessee goes in and makes a better showing, that's going to be a little different.
If Tennessee went in and beat Ohio State and Texas beat Clemson, that's all we've been talking about today is not enough SEC teams in this thing.
Right.
Tennessee getting beat, that toned that down quite a bit. More on the college football playoffs. We'll get to those point spreads of the next round. Trash still to come. We'll update our brackets and some final thoughts on this final show before our Christmas break here at the next round. Show being brought to you by the great folks at Rodney Scott. They're there for you the whole holiday season, all the way including Christmas and New Year's. Get those great meals from Rodney Scott.
That's right. Yeah, there'll be Christmas parties after Christmas. That spatchcock turkey is a great idea, but if you want to make it a barbecue party, make it a barbecue. RodneyScottsBBQ.com is the website to go to. Or just jump in one of those local Rodney Scott's barbecues in town in Homewood and out in Trussville. Coming soon to Shelby County out there on Highway 41 in a great entertainment district. Rodney Scott's Barbecue. Rodney Scott's Whole Hard Barbecue. I'll go ahead and tell you, some of the best ribs you'll ever eat right there at Rodney Scott. Scan that QR code or go to RodneyScottsBBQ.com.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Hey, if you're looking for the perfect Thanksgiving meal, how about our friends at Rodney Scott's Barbecue? They are taking pre-orders right now to prepare your entire meal. From the homemade southern sides and desserts to the delicious pit-cooked spatchcock turkey, available for pre-order right now at RodneyScottsBBQ.com. Seasoned with the famous Rib Rub and Rod's original sauce, you're going to absolutely love it. Support local this holiday season. Rodney Scott's Barbecue, locally owned and operated, RodneyScottsBBQ.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by their professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today, in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for The Next Round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Is Coke Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? That's a bold question, but it's got that irresistible taste to back it up. Well, one thing's for sure, when you've got an irresistible tasty match like zero sugar and 0 calories, something sensational is bound to happen. It's too bad you can't taste with your ears, because this Coke Zero Sugar tastes amazing. You know, it's hard to put into words, and that's my job. You'll have to take a taste for yourself. Coke Zero Sugar, best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie-cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
The day after Christmas is like a big lump of coal. But the day after Christmas is the Birmingham Bowl.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final hour of the show today. Champy's Chicken brings you the final hour. Live meltdown today, guys. 2 o'clock, live meltdown today. On all the platforms, so set your alert for that. We'll get Melton, who's here, and Tyler to chime in when we get to trash coming up. We'll show you our staff picks for the playoffs. Hopefully you guys filled out a bracket too. Brownie and I are about to power rank the 8 teams remaining in the college football playoffs, and we'd love to see yours in the mybookie.ag chat room. But our friends at Champy's Chicken, great place to swing by for lunch today if you're out doing some last-minute shopping, or if you have family in town and you don't want to cook for those dirty heathens. Take them down to Champy's Chicken. Sterling will deal with them. Cook some deep fried chicken right there. Brined overnight, cooked to order. Wonderful sides. Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. It's so good. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Champy's Chicken. Trust me, you'll never, ever, ever be disappointed with a trip to Champy's on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Glad to have you along today. LT's back with us on Monday. We're all off the rest of the week. He got to see his Rams win not a playoff game, but an important game for their playoff push yesterday in New York.
For them. Didn't feel like a playoff game, but it was a playoff game for them.
Yeah. I mean, it was an important game.
Oh, yeah.
My Buccaneers lost a crucial game last night on Sunday Night Football to the Cowboys, who played inspired football, but we lost to freaking Cooper Rush.
That's a bad loss for y'all, I'll tell you that. That is a bad loss.
And we played like crap and still had ball in hand and needed 32 yards to get in field goal range and fumbled it away.
What a weird fumble, too.
It was. It's the worst game that we've played since losing to the Broncos. And we've lost a couple of overtime games and lost to the Broncos where I think we only scored single digits. We played so well in sometimes, and then we can kick ourselves in the butt when we end up like we threw away the first to the Falcons. I'm talking like it's the Rams. I'm talking too much about the Bucs here. And the Dolphins, they kept their hopes alive yesterday, right?
Yeah, here's how the Dolphins get in. There's a path. They've got to win their next two games at Cleveland, at the Jets. Two cold weather games. Dolphins never good in cold weather, so it's alarming, but those are not good teams. They need the Broncos to lose both at Cincinnati and against the Chiefs. The Chiefs likely playing for the 1 seed the final week, so that'll be a meaningful game for the Chiefs. And then Indianapolis has to drop one of two. Indianapolis plays the Jags and the Giants. Those are two bad football teams. So I could see a scenario where the Broncos lose the two we need them to lose, and the Jags and Giants can't beat Indianapolis, and that's what beats us. The other path is
the Colts get you in?
Yeah. The other path is the Chargers losing two, but they play Vegas and, who's the other team they play? It's two bad teams. So, I mean, the Dolphins aren't in a great situation, but, that's what happens when your quarterback misses 4 games and you lose games you're not supposed to lose.
Yep. All right, we're going to show you our power rankings. We want to see yours. But before we do that, was it the biggest win for these coaches this weekend? It's our Coca-Cola question of the day, Brownie.
Yeah, start game day the right way. Start it with the Coke Zero Sugar. The best Coke ever. Try and decide.
Cut number 8, Tyler. James Franklin. Listen to James Franklin, and then I will ask you, was this the biggest win in James Franklin's career? Here's James.
So it's cool. I love to see all these guys get opportunities and make plays. Get opportunities to make plays and to win and have success because they work so hard. You guys know this is a grind. We have turned college football into a grind. Used to talk about the difference between college and the NFL. It's essentially the same now. And it's a grind on the coaches. It's a grind on the players. It's a grind on the staff. It's a grind on the wives and the kids. So to see them have success is to me what it's all about.
God, it's a grind.
I guess you would say he won the Big Ten championship in 2014 that got them in the Rose Bowl. And before that, he beat Penn State in that blocked field goal game. Or, beat Ohio State in that blocked field goal game in Happy Valley. So those 2 wins would have been his biggest wins prior to this. So it just depends on, you've got to tell me what's bigger, winning an actual championship and going to the Rose Bowl, or winning a game that gets you one step closer to winning a national championship. I might be a prisoner of the moment. You'll see that with my rankings here in one moment, my power rankings. But I am going to say that was his biggest win of his career Saturday, simply because even winning that Big Ten championship, if you remember, they were a 2-loss Big Ten champion. They were not in the national championship running.
That's right. They got left out of the playoffs.
That's right. They knew they were getting left out of the playoffs, even if they were winning the Big Ten championship, unless some chaos ensued, and it did not. So I would say Saturday was the biggest win of James Franklin's career. And we'll get to Ryan Day in a moment. I'm going to say the same thing about him. You've also got to consider where they are as a coach. Don't forget, this is a James Franklin, Jim, that was booed at, yelled at, the fire James Franklin chants, stopped and got in an argument with a fan leaving the field after the Ohio State loss earlier this year.
Yep.
So that weight on his shoulders of never beating the good teams had only gotten heavier and heavier and heavier. And by the way, I don't think a win over SMU is going to get that weight off his shoulders, but it was at least a playoff game. So it felt like a big win for James Franklin.
And they get Boise State next. It's not even a big game again.
I mean, it was such a forgiving schedule for them.
It is.
But I'm with Luginbill. Like, that offense, when that SMU game was still in doubt in the first half, that offense wasn't doing much against SMU's defense.
It's a scary game, but Penn State should be to the fore for sure. Let's do 11 next, Tyler. Let's do Ryan Day. Let's jump to him. I'll ask you the same question after we hear from him. Was this the biggest win for Ryan Day, who's played for a national championship? Gets asked where this kind of performance has been hiding, which was the question.
Ryan, I don't know any artful way to say this, but where was that performance hiding for your team?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm proud of our seniors for a lot of reasons. One, for the fact that they were able to finish their last game at Ohio Stadium with a win like that, and I'm also proud of the way that they responded. And I told them in the locker room that in life, you're gonna be defined by the way you handle adversity in life, as a person, as a man, as a dad. And so, to see the way that they responded in this game, you can tell from the jump that they had a look in their eye that they were going to go win this game. And I thought they played that way. So a lot of football ahead of us, great win, but we're going to enjoy this for 24 hours, and then it's on to Oregon.
Yeah. So biggest win for him?
Here's the complicated thing with him. He has won a game against Clemson to get into the college football playoff national championship. I mean, that was a semifinal game in a 4-team, obviously, so not a semifinal.
Deeper into a
team.
bracket, technically, than what this was.
Yeah, I mean, first game in each, but yeah, you're in the semifinals in one, you're in the first round in one, right? You're not even to the quarterfinals yet. So, I mean, that got you to the national championship. And, I know Alabama ran them out of the stadium, but I would still say that's a bigger win than this one, except for the fact that for Ryan Day personally, you have to factor in to what was going on off the field for him.
Yeah, his job. I really believe. Yeah. I really believe that his job was in jeopardy if they lost that game, especially with the fact that there were so many Tennessee fans who were able to buy tickets from his fan base to be in there.
Yeah, I mean, estimates of 30 to 40,000, somewhere between 30 and 40,000 Tennessee fans actually in the stadium there in the Horseshoe.
Fowler didn't believe it was that much. Herb Street said 40,000. Fowler was like, no way.
I can never do those, those estimates. I don't know. I just know before that game got out of hand, when they showed the crowd, you saw a lot of orange, and then when they finally got to play Rocky Top, you could hear the crowd reaction. But when you consider everything that was going on the periphery around Ryan Day, I would say absolutely that was the biggest win of his career. In terms of his job, in terms of how it impacts Ohio State, I would not say that. I would say it was the semifinal win over Clemson. But in terms of Ryan Day personally, how it impacts his job, personally, that was his biggest win ever.
Champy's Chicken bringing you this hour. Give me cut number 10 if you can. Champy's Chicken is Highway 119 in Alabaster. Sterling is absolutely the best. Merry Christmas to Sterling and the crew at Champy's Chicken. They are such good people for us. They've given us great times, great food, and they'll do the same for your family as well. Just one of the great, great guys. Sterling will take care of you. I don't know what it is about people who are good at, running restaurants, owning restaurants, and cooking good food. They all seem to be great people usually. Sterling fits that bill, man. Great person who's great at preparing, serving, and taking care of people. And that's what he does on Highway 119 in Alabaster, champyschicken.com, champyschicken.com. Biggest win for Steve Sarkisian as a head coach was that this weekend.
Yep, that was it.
You're going to answer it now before you even hear Sark.
I don't have to hear him.
Here's Sark about playing this game on campus where, according to those who were there, Dusty Dvorak, our buddy, Dusty, said the atmosphere was unbelievable in Austin. Here is Sark.
What an environment for college football this was. From the moment we pulled up on the buses, our Bevo walk, you could feel the energy. The crowd was tremendous. It was a great atmosphere. I think, college football got this one right. As much as we critique some of the things that are happening in our game right now. This idea of a home playoff game with this 12-team format, this was pretty special, and one that we were humbled and honored to be part of here at DKR. So I hope everybody enjoyed that, because we surely did.
Did not know they called it Bevo Walk. Not a big fan of that.
Me either. I did see Bevo walking in,
yeah.
and I wish more than two guys were holding that rope. He looked a little.
He did. He was feisty.
He looked a little riled up.
He was like, "I'm not used to being at games this time of year. What's going on?"
Now, there is a guy with a stick. I wonder if it has any electricity in it.
Yeah. Last year they won the.
Settle down, big fella.
Last year they won the Big 12 championship game to get into the playoffs. They eventually lost to Washington. So that had to be his previous big win. I mean, he had nothing at Washington or USC that would compare.
Yep.
He was a 500 coach at Washington. In his one full season at USC, he was 9-4. So there was just nothing that was going to compare to that in his 2 seasons. So I think this is easily the biggest win of his career. Now, it got him into the playoffs last year, but they didn't do anything with that. So now you're one step further. And again, you were playing to face Arizona State. I mean, it's not a punched ticket to the semis, but it is a nice path to the semis for him.
It feels like it.
Yeah.
It feels like it.
Absolutely.
All right. And Marcus Freeman, biggest win for him? I think
100%. I don't even know. I don't even know what the other one is. I don't even know which one to make a case for.
But on campus, prime time, playoff game, first playoff win for Notre Dame ever. So, yeah, that was huge.
I mean, I don't even know where you would go with Marcus Freeman for another win for him.
Huge.
It was absolutely massive. And
the fact that he got to do that before Brian Kelly has gotten LSU to the playoffs, and Brian Kelly said, I'm leaving here to have a better chance of doing what Marcus Freeman just did.
Yeah.
That was a big win for Marcus Freeman.
Some injury news in that game, though.
I was about to get to that.
Right, Riley Mills, that big defensive tackle, is out with his knee injury. And Kirby today, meeting the media again, asked about Carson Beck, is not definitive. Basically said they're still going through the process.
Yeah. Well.
So I mean, I think you can read between the lines on that. You're now in game prep for Notre Dame, and he is quote unquote still going through the procedures and process.
Yeah. He's out. He's out.
Yeah,
Stockton's going to play.
I don't think anybody thinks he's going to play.
Hasn't been at practice. In fact, was asked about it last week before the weekend, and it seems like they were getting answers. He's in Jacksonville. He's in. Nobody even knew where he was.
Yeah. Not with the team, but don't know where.
Yeah, we don't even know where he is. So interesting there, and we'll get to that. Before we do our rankings, I do want to get cut number 12, Josh Heupel, because Tennessee was in this thing. He's taken this program so far already, but there is no doubt that 2022 Tennessee was much better than 2024 Tennessee. Much better.
They have slowly regressed offensively.
I watched that game and I was like, where is the threat?
Was it all Hendon Hooker
downfield? No, I
mean Hendon Hooker was and they did have good receivers.
I felt like it was the receivers that were just they could change the game with their speed. Ohio State looked faster than Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean they did. I can't deny that when you watch the game, they look more like an SEC team than Tennessee did.
Yeah. And they had a lot of SEC players on that team.
That's true. There's a reason, I guess.
But here's Josh Heupel afterwards. I just hated. I mean, I know you're going to think I'm lying. I grew up an Alabama guy, but I just hated to see all those Tennessee people go up there and Tennessee to lose this game. It was a bad loss.
I want to thank our fans. I don't know what the actual number was that showed up, but there was a bunch of orange that decided to make the trip, and appreciate them. Disappointed for them, disappointed for our team and everything that we had put into it since last January. That we didn't coach and play better in this one early. There wasn't a phase of the football game where we operated the way we needed to early in the game, and came back and made a couple plays at the end of the second quarter to tighten it up, and just didn't function well enough beginning of the third quarter either. So, and that's a credit to them, but just didn't do what you have to on the road in a game against a really good football team.
Lance pointed it out a lot. You go back and find and I went back through his whole career and you couldn't find one. A good game Nico has played against quality opponent. He doesn't have it. There's no good performance against quality for him.
There's something lacking in his ability to throw the ball.
I guess so. I don't know if it's scheme. I don't know what it is, but he does not have a good start against a quality opponent. So that didn't stun me that they struggled some offensively. What stunned me was how well Ohio State moved the ball in those first 3 possessions.
Yep.
Tennessee could not stop them. They had no answers for what Ohio State was doing. And then when Will Howard dropped that one in on Jeremiah Smith, I'm like, man, Will Howard's just having his game. You're not beating him tonight.
Yeah, Will Howard could do anything he wanted.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like there was bad coverage. He's just dropping them in there. 24 of 29, 311 from Will Howard.
Yeah, that touchdown to Jeremiah Smith, he just drops it right over the defender.
Good coverage.
And it's great coverage.
Yeah.
It was the undefendable pass. And you're just like, that's Will Howard's night, man. I don't know what you're going to do about it. You're going to have to outdo him, and you're not equipped to do that if you're Tennessee.
I thought they had a little fight in them right before the half when they scored that touchdown. I was like, okay, all right, there's a chance to fight back from, 21-0?
Yeah, that made it 21-10. They kicked a field goal earlier, so all of a sudden it's 21-10.
Yeah.
So you're like, if you can get that
opening drive.
Yep.
If you can do something in that opening drive.
It's what as Brandon Marcello and I always talk about the middle eight. It's that first 4 minutes of the half. If you can win that first 4 minutes of the half, you got a chance at this game.
Yeah.
And Ohio State came out and won that first 4 minutes.
Yeah, they came out with the ball, Tennessee. If they'd have driven down the field with a touchdown there, then it's 21-17.
Yeah, now you know what happens to Ohio State.
Ryan Day and them are starting to think,
Pucker.
oh, crap.
Yeah, pucker factor. Yeah.
All right. Our friends at Hemphill, before we do our rankings here, Brownie, you tell them about Hemphill this time.
I will. Hemphill Services, if it doesn't run right, flow right, or drain right, you call Hemphill, 229-2090. That is 229-2090. Hemphill Services. They also bring you Lance's Lock every day. Lance's Lock, making sure you've got the right plays for all the NFL games, including Monday Night Football tonight, NBA, college basketball, and the college football bowl season and college football playoffs at Lance's Lock, brought to you by Hemphill Services. Chad, Andrew, and the entire crew there at Hemphill. If it's not flowing right, running right, or draining right, AC, plumbing, all of that, 229-2090, 229-2090, Hemphill Services.
This isn't reseeding. This is our power ranking now, so don't get these confused. Brown, give me your top 8.
My top 8, so I did this based on the last game I saw every team play. That's the only way I can do this right now, my current power ranking. So I am a prisoner of the moment with Ohio State. I've got them 1, Texas 2. You know, Cade Klubnik did throw for 330-some-odd yards on that Texas defense, but a lot of that was when Texas had the lead. They were playing a little bit softer, and Clemson could not run. So Texas has taken the run away from them. Oregon, it seems like forever since I saw them play. It's only been a couple of weeks. They're 3rd, Georgia 4th. Notre Dame 5th. I could have easily swapped Notre Dame and Georgia. In fact, I picked Notre Dame to beat Georgia. Probably should have. I probably should have swapped 4 and 5 there. And then I think the bottom 3 are the easiest, whatever order you want to put those in: Penn State, Boise State, and Arizona State.
Yeah. We're close. Just better penmanship for me.
Oh, that's always been the case. I've complimented your penmanship many times.
And I think better framing as I hold it up, too.
Well, that's fantastic, Jim. You are so much better at this than me. But all you did was flip Georgia and Notre Dame, and we're the same.
Ohio State, Oregon,
and
for
Oregon,
me.
Texas, yeah.
Texas is 3. Notre Dame 4, Georgia 5. Penn State, Arizona State, Boise. I think Boise is the worst team in the field. Arizona State, Penn State, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas, Oregon, and Ohio State. And I'm going to say it again. I think Boise's the worst team in the field, not just left. I think I would have taken Indiana to beat them. I would have taken anybody else to beat them. I think Indiana would have beat them. Clemson would have beat them. All the other losers I can't think of right now.
I mean, I would
just SMU would have beat them.
Yeah. I think if you obviously nobody's been able to stop Genty this year. I mean, what is his worst game?
123 yards.
And I know what you're going to say. Well, he hasn't faced defenses like Penn State. And really, Oregon, is, to be fair, is probably the only defense anywhere close to Penn State that he has faced this year. I need to look what did they end up against the run? That game was early in the year. Oregon's rush defense in conference was 10th. So their mid-tier Big Ten rush defense. Penn State's is 4th. So Penn State statistically is a better rush defense than Oregon. So I don't know if statistics will back this up. I'm just going to say, based on film and all that, you got to think this is the best defense Genty will have faced this year, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, I mean, so this is going to be the biggest challenge he's had, and I don't know what number you think he's got to have in this game for them to have a chance to win. Like you said, his worst game this year was 128 yards against UNLV, 33 carries, 128 yards. If that's his game, they get run off the field. I don't know what the number has to be, but it's got to be better than that. Actually, 127 against Portland State, but that was kind of he only had 11 carries. His worst game was against UNLV.
I got where the games, the next round, the quarterfinal games open. Can you pull up mybookie.ag and give us the live lines?
Yep.
Mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag. By the way, big winners lately for me. It's
Jimmy
been so much fun at mybookie.ag, including now last night I wasn't playing any scheme or anything. I took the Dallas Cowboys plus the 4 just so I'd win some money.
Yeah.
To make my Buccaneers loss feel better.
Right. Does that ever work for you? Like at least you won money and feel better. You're like, no, my team still lost the game. I'm not going to feel good.
But it was nice this morning to open up my bookie.ag app and see the cash. I would say this though, the easiest money right now, and I'm not saying this, Scott or Taylor, to jinx anybody. But so far, they can't handle the Auburn basketball line, Forrester. They can't set the line right. I mean, it's the easiest money to make right now is whatever it is, play Auburn and give the points.
Scott, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think Jim is correct on this, that's the easiest play?
I mean, it was minus 8.5 at one point, and then
why do you do this?
As Taylor,
I think Neville's going to fall into a sinkhole.
Why do you do this? As Taylor Korn was reporting, Janai Broome was going to play, showing video. Yeah. That went from 8.5 to 9, 9.5, minus 10. I was like, you can keep going up. I'll take Auburn minus the 10 at mybookie.ag.
Stop.
Easy winner. Easy winner. My kids, thank you, Auburn basketball, for how easy it has been so far. Penn State, Boise State. I had it at 10.5 last I saw.
Penn State right now is an 11-point favorite against Boise State in the Fiesta Bowl at mybookie.ag.
Keeps going up. Texas, Arizona State. Last I saw, minus 14.
That is where it is currently in the Peach Bowl. Texas a 14-point favorite at mybookie.ag. Now the two good games.
Last I saw, Ohio State the favorite over number 1 seed Oregon at 2.5.
Yeah, you think a lot of people are surprised by that? I think if you watched Ohio State against Tennessee, you're like, yeah, I could see that they're the favorite. They lost by 1 in Eugene.
Yeah,
and then to play the way they played their best game of the year, probably to be favored 2.5. I'm not stunned by that. Like, I thought they would be the favorite, but it does look weird in a neutral site to see the overall 1 seed and underdog.
That's
but
right.
2.5 is your number.
And then Notre Dame, Georgia. Last I saw, Georgia was only a 1.5-point favorite.
That's where it currently is at mybookie.ag in the Sugar Bowl. Georgia, 1.5-point favorite over Notre Dame. So those two late games on New Year's Day look like they're going to be really good games.
I can't wait. Those two great settings. I know you want them on campus.
But I do want them on campus, but if you're going to play Rose Bowl and Sugar Bowl, I'll take it. I mean, if we got to go bowl games, let's at least go to some good historic bowl games.
I mean, just think about it. 3 meaningful bowl games back to back on January 1st. I mean, that's pretty darn good.
No,
pretty darn good.
It is. I'm not complaining. Trust me, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying if we're going to try to make this better, let's consider everything, and I think on campus all the way up to the championship would be the way to go. You know what I used to worry about? I don't know if you remember this, but when we used to talk about a playoff, I was like, do we really want to live in a world, and this is back when bowl games had a little more meaning, where you lose in the first round and your whole season is done? Like, you wouldn't take one of those first-round teams and put them in a bowl game? And I remember you were like, no, Brown, I think you got to make them – they got to be done at that point.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel as weird now that I'm seeing it.
I can remember it like it was yesterday because, sometimes I get a little upset when we do a topic again that we've already done in the course of one summer.
Sometimes you do that, yeah.
And you guys Dunaway, that was March, and we're doing it now again in August.
What are the odds that every single person is listening at the both sides?
It's not that big a deal. And I'm like, but I can remember like it was yesterday. We were in the AM 690 studio,
right,
when we talked about if it ever goes to a playoff, and we were discussing what would you do if you lose in the first round.
Yeah, you don't put those teams in bowl games.
I think back then we had the first round starting in what is now the conference championship weekend.
Well, yeah, you started it a bit earlier.
So
right?
Then I think we thought, well, if you lose in the first round, then you could go play a bowl game.
Yeah.
But in this situation, no, I'm fine with those seasons being done.
Yeah, it doesn't feel weird at all. It would be weird, in fact, to see Tennessee play another game.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Couple of things before we go to break. EG is going to come in for trash. This can be our Birmingham Bowl update of some breaking news. Alabama and Florida State transfer Sean Murphy, a kid that got out of Tuscaloosa and Florida State. Sean Murphy
is on his way now to South Carolina. That's where he's going to play. And then this is interesting because we have so many basketball fans in our audience, especially with how good Auburn and Alabama are playing these days. The SEC, according to sources, it's being reported they're not going to go to 20 league games. They're going to stay at 18 games. That being reported by John Rothstein. According to sources, the SEC staying at 18 league games next year and not expanding to 20 during the season. That according to a source to John Rothstein of CBS.
I think you'll see, like after you watch this playoff field get seeded, any momentum there might have been for 9 football games is dead. I think when you see the SEC play the way they do this year and how many teams they get in the tournament, the same will be true of the 20-game schedule in basketball, right?
Because what has happened
and there's about to be an expanded tournament on top of all that.
What has happened is you've got the SEC doing so well out of conference. So now if you had 20 games, 2 extra games inside the league, you would probably be canceling bids by beating yourself up a little bit more.
Well, half the teams take an additional loss. There's
That's
no
right.
other way around that,
That's
right?
right.
If you got 20 games, half the teams are taking at least an additional loss.
Yeah, if not 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm okay with that. I do want to see us to go to 9 in football, but if they're not going to reward strength of schedule, then you can't do it. All right, EG comes back on the other side. Birmingham Bowl, man, what a great gift.
Yeah, BirminghamBowl.com. Get to go see Diego Pavia lead his Vanderbilt Commodores into Birmingham. Get to see
Diego.
Get to see Haynes King lead those Georgia Tech, the Ramblin' Wreck and a hell of an engineer, into Birmingham. Georgia Tech and Vandy playing in the Birmingham Bowl December 27th. BirminghamBowl.com for tickets. BirminghamBowl.com.
Follow Scott Forrester on Twitter at Scott Forrester TV.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
Hey, you. It's the holidays. Give cheer a lift. And at New Balance Birmingham, we got the gift. That holiday vibe? Find it inside. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
From the creators of The Next Round comes 2 new sites, CoverCrimson.com and TheBarnAuburn.com. 2 team sites with the same excitement and information-driven content that you get every day on The Next Round. Live daily shows, recorded shows, free of charge, plus premium content with insider information starting at just $1. And it's the perfect gift for the Alabama or Auburn fan in your family. CoverCrimson.com or TheBarnAuburn.com. Sign up today.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
The beauty of the holiday is at the center of your table with the New York Butcher Shop. Their selection of USDA certified Angus prime rib roast, beef tenderloins, and fillets, as well as premium pork and lamb cuts, are the finest selections available in the market and are hand-cut just the way you want. With side dishes handmade by the professional chefs, your holiday meal is complete. Visit one of their 2 locations today in Cahaba Heights or off Highway 119 in Greystone. Place your order today. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well done service.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
The day after Christmas is like a big lump of coal. But the day after Christmas is the Birmingham Bowl.
I did not know what I was walking into when I walked out.
Yeah.
How did you not?
I know.
You antagonize her every day.
That's not what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
I was just pointing out while
I have a
promoting our
video.
friends at mybookie.ag.
Nobody believes you.
No.
Absolutely
You guys are
nobody
insane.
believes
you guys are insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, if I don't talk good about Auburn basketball, I'm being an Alabama homer. Auburn's got the best team in the country. And if I say Auburn has the best team in the country, then I'm trying to landmine them. I can't win.
There's a lot of middle ground between the two.
There is not.
I love this from Lionel.
It was absolutely I was just pointing out, it was the easiest money. When Auburn plays basketball right now, it's the easiest money at mybookie.ag.
It will no longer be the easiest money since you said that.
That is not true. They're a good basketball team.
They're a great basketball team right now, yeah.
Forrester, I just sent you the video from the hallway.
And I just did not think that I was just talking about winning on Saturday. It was so easy. And I walk out the door and I get talked to like I'm some mangy dog at the end of Old Yeller. Like she's about to pull out a pistol.
Taylor was going, get out.
Get out of here. G-I-T, get. Show being brought to you by our buddy Dr. B. He brings you a lot of great things in our lives, including LT and Brown's hair.
That's right, T3hair.net. What about starting 2025 by addressing that head of hair? We have had so many of you that have reached out to Dr. B about it, and we appreciate that. T3hair.net, T3 Hair Preservation, is Dr. B's company, and he is on the forefront of all the latest technology. Like sometimes even when we show you this video that Scott is showing you, some of the procedures they go through now have been updated even since this summer because he is constantly getting in new technology. And that's the thing. It is not some one-size-fits-all program. They're going to do some DNA testing. They're going to test your hair. They're going to come back with several options, and you pick the one that is best for you. As little as 30 minutes a night, 3 nights a week can help grow your hair back with that hat that Scott is showing you right there from Dr. B. T3hair.net. Get a risk-free evaluation with Dr. B, T3hair.net.
All right. It's time now for our Coca-Cola bracket update. I hope your office did what our office did. We filled out a bracket.
We did. We'll see who's doing the best.
You sound like you're not doing well.
No, EG did. She.
No, I like my bracket. I mean, I had Tennessee winning.
I had Tennessee winning.
But I think most people did.
Yeah.
Okay, let's run through the brackets. I'll try to recognize the picture as you pop them up. This is EG with glasses, by the way. Oh, you got an X. You're right. You had Tennessee winning.
Look at Forrester.
Yeah, good job, Forrester. So 3-1 and
3-1.
Yep.
Who's next? Dun, 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 dun. Oh, this is Linus.
Lionel.
Man. Sorry. Sorry. Put your blanket down.
You want to do the Christmas story for us?
2 losses. You had Indiana winning.
Yeah, that's tough right there.
Yeah.
Didn't happen there.
Arizona State's going the distance.
Yeah.
Sig got smoked.
This is Little T also having Tennessee win 3-1.
That's right. Yep, 3-1 for Little T.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reed had Clemson winning. Got the Ohio State game right. 3-1. 3-1 for Reed Taylor.
Yeah, but he's got Clemson advancing into the next round. He's already got another loss there.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh. This is Melton movie review. 2-2.
He liked to pony up there.
Yeah, SMU too.
Yeah.
All right. Who's next? LT not here. Oh, LT's 4-0.
Wow.
Boom.
Look out.
Boom, Lance.
Yeah. These are all blowouts. We're celebrating.
Way to go, Lance.
Like you disarmed a bomb.
2 thumbs up for this guy.
Yeah.
Boom, Dunaway.
James Dunaway.
Yeah.
With a 4-0.
Probably the best bracket out there. Easy money, Taylor. Who's next?
That's Scott.
Oh,
that's Scott with a 4-0.
Nice.
4-0 Forrester. Hey. It's too easy. Who's next? Ryan, 3-1. Oh.
Well, I for some reason bought into Tennessee.
I did too.
Yeah.
We all did.
Is that everybody?
That's it.
Oh, we didn't get a Bo.
wait a minute, Bo, yeah.
Bo O'Neill.
There's
sales guy.
Yeah, he's our director of
wow.
marketing. Bo
Yeah.
liked Indiana for some reason, also liked Tennessee.
Well, at least he's working hard in sales. He's not picking that bracket. All
I
right.
can't watch the games. I'm selling too much.
Working too hard. You want me to do a bracket? Let me fill it out real quick.
Tackle game day with a great taste Coke Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? Try and decide.
Thanks for doing that.
You're welcome,
Forrester,
Jim.
Man. No, Forrester. Thank you for doing that, Forrester. Appreciate it. I know it's hard work. By the way, speaking of brackets.
Hard work.
You're welcome, Jim.
I know you hated me last year.
I still don't forgive you, but
when I picked Auburn to win the national championship in basketball last year, but I really believed that when we left Nashville. And Taylor and I was in Nashville when they won the SEC basketball championship.
Right.
And then we watched the selection show with them. There was a lot of momentum there for that Auburn team. So I picked them to win it all, and they didn't. But I hate to tell you guys, if we were filling out a bracket today, I would pick.
No,
I would.
no.
If we were filling it out today, I would do it. I would pick them to win it all today. Would you not?
Stop.
I'm pleading the fifth.
Would you not do it today?
I'm not contributing to this on record.
Would you not do it today?
I can say I would because I don't have the landmine on my back.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, I would do it.
Yeah,
I
would probably pick Auburn right now.
Yeah.
But, now, to be fair.
My question would be, how many SEC teams would I have in the Final Four?
Yeah. Bruce Pearl outside
Just
of
one, only Auburn.
Bruce Pearl outside of the Final Fours had some struggles of late in the NCAA tournament. He's got to get over that hump, but this team certainly is good enough to do that.
But and I guess the AP poll will come out today in basketball.
I was having such a good day.
I know.
Y'all got.
I don't know why you're so hung up on this AP. Tennessee is not lost. They're not going to jump Auburn over Tennessee. You know how
Auburn
voters
just
work.
annihilated
Doesn't
another.
matter. Tennessee hasn't lost. They're not going to jump them.
Okay.
I mean, I think Auburn's the best team, but
Yeah. All right, let's do trash. It's brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
I think we just did it.
Spin the wheel, Lionel.
Other than 12 months of me with my shirt off or whatever I'm dressed up as, in a heartbeat, I'll eat those balls all day long.
I've been to it.
Wow.
Yeah.
LT's Trash is
Bracket challenge.
presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
veteran owned, veteran operated is Mortgage Right, and they've got great programs for veterans. They've also got great programs for any of you that are ready to buy a home or refinance your home. Your first stop needs to be mortgageright.com/TNR. That is mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
All right, let's get things started with Jared Leto to play Skeletor in Masters of the Universe movie. Are you guys familiar with that?
He's Jared Leto's one of those method actors. So he's probably, I don't know what you would have to do to be Skeletor.
I don't either.
He is the guy that.
Yeah, Skeletor was a skull face. I don't think Jared Leto can be that method. I don't think he can peel his skin off.
I kind of like
but
it, though.
I sort of see it.
I do, too.
Pretty good casting.
The Oscar-winning star of House of Gucci and Dallas Buyers Club is joining Amazon MGM's upcoming live-action film Masters of the Universe as Skeletor. Director Travis Knight has also cast at least some of Skeletor's crew of henchmen. Sam C. Wilson from House of the Dragon will play Trapjaw. Kojo Ata will play Triclops. And Hafthor Jornsson from Game of Thrones will play Goatman.
Oh, wow.
I liked He-Man growing up. I did. It was good. I was there when He-Man was the cartoon, and it was an excellent cartoon. I used to watch that and Thundercats. I don't know if you remember Thundercats.
Well, I wasn't a big Thundercats guy. I was always into He-Man.
Yeah, He-Man was better. I agree.
Yeah.
Masters of the Universe.
I never watched He-Man.
I liked
What
He-Man.
was Thundercats?
Thundercats was you had. They were like half person, half cat, and they all had a different ability. Like one was really fast, one was really strong. I can't remember all their powers.
I can't either. I barely watched it.
But it was kind of.
He was the main one.
Yeah, it felt like, I don't think it was actually a He-Man spinoff, but it felt like a He-Man spinoff.
It did.
Yeah.
Well, this will come out June 5th, 2026, if you want to go catch that film. Moving on, KFC turned chicken bucket lid into playable vinyl record.
Interesting. Wow. So it covers my chicken and plays music.
And,
yeah.
Okay, I feel like it'd be so greasy because it's the same lid.
And I don't have a turntable.
Yeah.
I don't
I mean,
either.
there are a lot of problems with this.
Yeah.
What songs does it play? Do you know?
Collection of Kentucky Fried Carols made exclusively for Christmas 2024. The songs featured include festive classics like Deck the Halls, We Wish You a Merry Christmas, and Jingle Bells.
Oh, how nice.
According to the brand, the design is made from the same paper lids it used on its regular buckets of chicken. However, the new versions have been covered in vinyl coating and etched. So that's unique.
Yeah, it is. It is unique. Seems like a unnecessary step. I don't know how many people are going to say, you know what? We got chicken and music tonight.
Only 10 of the vinyl bucket tops have been made, and those interested can take part in a contest to win one of the rare copies by visiting the KFC Canada Instagram page. This also, I guess, is Canadian, not...
Yeah. I'm going to say this is not the marketing coup that KFC thinks it's going to be.
No.
I don't think people are going to be fighting over these.
So the tagline is set the holiday mood with finger-looking good food and music all at once. So, like you, they said, let's get some chicken and some tunes.
Chicken and music. What could go wrong? It's called date night at Dunaway's house.
Yeah.
Chicken and music.
So this one's kind of crazy, this next one. This is local. Dog finds human leg bone in Birmingham after dragging homicide victim's skull home.
Wow.
So,
holy crap.
Listen to this.
Okay.
So he'd already brought the skull home, but he went back and found the leg?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm going to read the full thing with this one because it's local flair.
Live local and late breaking from NBC 13.
A bone dragged to a Birmingham home by the same dog that previously found a human skull has been determined to be a leg bone. Jefferson County Chief Deputy Coroner Bill Yates on Friday said the bone found on December 12th is a human left tibia. The skull found in August by the dog was determined to have been a homicide victim. Is that not insane?
That is insane. So, like, is this an actual photo, Tyler?
Yeah. Should we have a drone that follows?
I believe that is the dog that found the leg.
Cute dog.
Should we have a drone that just follows the dog throughout the day?
Yeah.
Is there a chance he's just going to a nearby
cemetery
and is really good at digging?
Yes. Well, wait a minute. We figured it out now.
So, in the latest find, Birmingham Police and the Jefferson County Coroner's Office responded that Thursday morning after the homeowner, who is also the dog owner, called to report another bone had been retrieved. The investigation began August 20th when a resident found the skull on the shoulder of the roadway next to his home. It is believed the skull was moved to where it was found by the homeowner's dog, but the original location of the skull is unknown. The victim has not been identified. Since then, Yates told AL.com on Thursday the skull was analyzed and a full DNA profile has been compiled. However, the DNA profile did not match anyone listed in all the databases, which is a national DNA database that allows law enforcement to compare DNA profiles from crime scenes, convicted offenders, arrestees, detainees, and missing persons. The FBI maintains the national index. Just over a week ago, the same dog showed up in its front yard with the long bone.
Charles, is the leg bone and the skull matching, or the same people?
No.
We're going to need more parts.
They have not yet found where the dog is finding the bones, if indeed they do belong to the same person.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to just I know it's local, but I would just, as a nice officer, I'd just say, sir, is it okay? I know the dog is finding them somewhere else. Can we just maybe look in your basement just really quick?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Can we take a quick look?
Yeah.
Poke around a little bit.
We know you're perfectly.
Yeah. We just would like to see your basement.
Yeah, let's just eliminate one person right
that's
here.
Right. That's right. We'll be in and out 5 minutes maybe.
Because it's a brilliant plan if you do have people, old bodies in your basement.
That's right.
To occasionally throw them out for the dog.
Yeah, he keeps bringing
I don't know where he's bringing them from.
Where he's coming from.
Well,
not
from my basement.
Certainly not my basement. I can tell you that.
They're asking investigators and people around to look at their Ring cameras to see where the dog is going. Also, why is the dog getting out that much?
Well, I don't think this is.
I don't really like
I don't think
that.
there's a leash law in that area, probably.
Well, back in my day, we didn't have leash laws.
Yeah.
Dogs used to run free.
Another report is seeing the dog gnawing on a bone. Yep.
Charles with a very uncomfortable question for the show. Is there a chance it was the brown bandit skull?
Oh,
wow. It is missing.
We'll not know until probably week 0 of next year.
I look forward to a new season.
Yeah.
All right, this next one is pretty funny. Texas A&M alumnus accidentally joins band, says he pretended to play for 4 years. This is impressive to me.
Accidentally joined the band?
So he has gone viral, claiming he accidentally became a part of the university marching band and pretended to play an instrument for 4 years.
Don't believe this story, E.G. I don't believe it's true.
I'm going to go ahead and tell you. Little known fact about Jim Dunaway. I was in the marching band at Thompson my 9th grade year, my freshman year.
What did you play?
Alto saxophone.
Nice.
But when we were on the field marching,
You did not play.
did not one time blow a note.
Oh, but tell me you sold the heck out of it. They're like, you were lean back.
Well, I didn't do that, but I had.
Yeah.
I didn't even really have my mouth on the mouthpiece sometimes, just
Yeah.
marching around, because I'm not really coordinated. So I'd have to be like
1, 2, 3, right. Turn right, trying to do all the formations.
Yeah.
So I was more worried about that.
So the person says, in an attempt to find the most affordable on-campus housing option, he selected a hall reserved for the university's Corps of Cadets. On-campus housing costs for the 2024-2025 academic year range from about $2,300 to about $7,000 per semester, according to the university's website.
That's really cheap, though.
However, as a member of the Corps, which is required for band membership, housing costs about $3,300 per semester.
Well, good call by him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I don't know what he was pretending to play, but
Yeah.
the saxophone. Who is going to hear my
So-
saxophone?
No, nobody.
Nobody.
A month before his first semester began, he received an email about orientation for the Fightin' Texas Aggie Band. I'd only played band in the 6th grade, but it was kind of late to find alternative housing, so I just showed up. During the orientation, the directors overlooked him, and he allegedly didn't have to participate in an audition. For the next 4 years, Juarez traveled with the band to various SEC events.
I don't believe this story. I just don't believe it.
I don't understand
at
how.
some point to stay in the band, you got to play your instrument for somebody.
Like a solo to
Not if
try out,
anybody
right?
ever just doesn't ask you to audition.
But Tyler,
At that
4
point, you're
years,
just
like
marching
4
in
years,
formation.
4 years, the band director is not like, I've never heard that guy play the trumpet.
Yeah.
I wonder how good he really
Well,
is.
you just assume you're hearing him play the trumpet because you're hearing 50 other people play
Yeah.
it.
Suarez, you're a senior, man. You want a solo at the
I'm
big
gonna
home
also
game?
go
No.
to-
I'd
Nope.
like to pass my solo, too.
That's right.
So they told him someone will come get you throughout the week. However, no one ever did. Band practice began. He just rolled with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the band's maneuvers, such as the four-way cross, are so complex that a computer says they can't be done because they require two people to be in the same place at the same time.
No, it's amazing to watch their band march up and down the field with those formations in between each other. If you're ever at a Texas A&M game, watch them.
Yeah.
Don't go to the bathroom.
His ruse remained unnoticed for a while, but eventually his friends realized he wasn't playing. He said in a post, "You're not allowed to talk at all as a freshman. My buddy next to me figured it out sometime freshman year, and then the rest of my buddies. It was funny at that point. You can't talk, I guess, if you're a freshman?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There's a lot of weird things there.
Yeah, well, he said it was easier than you'd think.
Yeah.
And the TikTok users are praising him, and fellow band kids are saying, as a band kid, this is honestly kind of epic.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, I guess good for him.
Well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
Gig 'em.
That's trash.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Mortgage Right.
MortgageRight.com/TNR. Great starting point if you're ready to buy that new home or refinance your current one. MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Yep. And our friends at the Birmingham Bowl, an opportunity to go down there and enjoy postseason play. Right now, UTSA is beating the crap out of Coastal Carolina. Later this afternoon, we're on the blue turf. Birmingham's part of the bowl scene. Be a part of it too, man. Go to birminghambowl.com and watch great football, SEC football, right here in Birmingham. Vandy and Georgia Tech. A couple of big upsets for those two teams this year. Georgia Tech had a couple, and then Vandy, of course, had the one over Alabama. Go cheer them on, birminghambowl.com. And there's a watch party,
Yeah,
isn't there?
Slice Lakeview. In fact, if you're in town as a Vandy or Georgia Tech fan, or if you know any Vandy or Georgia Tech fans, tell them to head on over to Slice Lakeview before the game. Food and drink specials and additional specials if you've got on Georgia Tech or Vandy gear. They're on game day on the 27th. Slice Lakeview for the Birmingham Bowl.
Okay, real quickly, Brownie. Charles Kelly's the new coach at Jack State. Clint Trickett's going to be the OC. They're keeping Rick Trickett on the offensive line.
Family affair.
Kelly getting that job.
Yeah, it's he's a guy that coached with Coach Burgess. That's how far back this goes, back in the 90s at Jacksonville State. But his last three stops, if you wonder how he's viewed as a recruiter, Nick Saban at Alabama, Deion Sanders at Colorado, and Hugh Freeze at Auburn. Those are the last three stops he had on his resume. All coaches that recruit one way or the other. I mean, Deion recruits a little differently than Freeze and Saban, but I think that shows you how much people value his recruiting ability.
E.g., sometimes on the history of our show, we have said things out loud that we should have gone through and done to make money.
Yeah.
One of them, I remember we were in our downstairs studio, Brown, when expansion and realignment started, and I said we should go get trademark and buy the website domains for Pack 14, Pack 16, Pack 18, Pack 20.
We're going to get all the options. Yep.
Pack 12 has filed for the trademark, and the website's not just for the Pack 12, but the Pack 8, Pack 10, Pack 14.
Yeah.
But they stop at 14. They don't go to 16 or 18.
We would have been squatters for quite a while. I mean, that goes back more than a decade.
But
we'll be glad to sell it to you
I
right
know.
now
Yeah.
for a price.
Yeah.
Right? Steve Belichick is the new defensive coordinator at North Carolina. No surprise there.
Kendrick Law ended up at Kentucky.
There is a surprise there.
That was interesting.
Yeah. I just don't understand, like, as an offensive player, why you go to Kentucky.
I don't know either. And he was to me, a unique player that I do think he wasn't utilized to his strengths this season. But as such a unique player, what is appealing about Kentucky's offense that fits
Kentucky's
them?
offense is so bad every year. I don't understand that move for him.
I have a feeling if he had hung around when you transition to the next
offense.
phase of the quarterback play
Yeah.
in Tuscaloosa, that maybe Law would have been better, but we'll see. Bo Pribula, the kid that had to leave Penn State, ends up at Missouri. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And then we mentioned earlier, and especially to Luginbill, Eric Singleton to Auburn and Isaiah Horton to Alabama from Georgia Tech and Miami. You'll get that on our social media platform as Taylor is sending that out, the Luginbill breakdown of those two big gets, especially Eric Singleton. Luginbill raving about what he could bring to the Auburn football Tigers coming up next season. You get that on our social media platform at Next Round Live. All right, Christmas thoughts real quick. 15 seconds. Say something to the people.
I am so excited. Merry Christmas. I hope you have a great holiday season and week with your family and enjoy it. Take some time to breathe in, enjoy the Christmas scents. And there's a video.
How can I say? There's Taylor berating Dunaway. Get! Go on, get!
We need audio.
Enjoy the Christmas scents.
There's audio, trust me.
Get! I mean, she was being mean.
We'd get demonetized with that audio.
She didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
All right. We're back with you live again, 9 a.m. Central next Monday. So the whole staff is taking a Christmas break here. God bless you. God bless America. Merry Christmas. And we love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next Monday.